Call in, guys. Talk to me nice.
Welcome back to Sports Tea. Welcome back to Sports Tea.
Talk to me nice. Nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Tea. I know it's been a couple days. Actually, it's been a quite a bit, actually. I was down. I was down bad with the flu. Oh my gosh. I could barely talk a couple days ago. My voice was bad. And man, getting sick in the summer is no fun, I have to tell you. But so grateful to be back with all of you guys. And I have so much to talk about. So this is going to be a really fun morning for us. I just want to say thank you all for joining and not forgetting about me. Salute to everyone joining the stream this morning, and salute to our members. I really appreciate you guys. Salute to our moderators, everybody that's holding me down in the chat. Really appreciate you all. And I want to give a special shout out to Mel from Man Down Sports. I just want you guys to know I'm drinking my coffee this morning out of a Man Down Sports mug. It is super cute. I love it. And thank you so much, Mel, for sending this over. Cheers to you. Anyway, good morning and happy Friday to all of you guys. Like I said, there's a lot on my mind. There's been so much that's happened in the past week, and you guys might have heard about these things and have kind of already discussed them amongst your friends, maybe your family, listen to other YouTube content creators surrounding some of these topics. But it's going to be a fun episode today, and we're going to jump right in. The first thing that we're going to talk about is LeBron James and this idea that he's going to the Warriors, the idea that the Warriors really seriously want him, and this constant trade rumor of LeBron James going to the Warriors. Like, why does this story keep circulating continuously? Why are we yet again talking about another LeBron James trade scenario? It just feels like, for me, LeBron James, the media wants to make sure that he's in the news cycle. No matter what's going on, we must maybe fabricate another LeBron James story to just make sure that his name is still ringing bells, to make sure that he's just continuing to trend, right? I mean, we can't possibly be ready to talk about the next season and Oklahoma City Thunder and how, what they're going to do next season and the actual contenders in the league. We can't possibly get ready for LeBron James's retirement. We have to think about him teaming up with Steph Curry, right? And the guy who is, I don't know, the debatable GOAT of this era, of the quote unquote LeBron James era. So we're going to be sitting here talking about LeBron James teaming up with Steph Curry. And I just think that that would quite literally be ridiculous. This is someone that LeBron competed against 4 times and lost 3 of those times too. Why do you want to team up with them? Why do we want to see that? I don't. I don't want to see that. It'd be one thing, okay, maybe they competed against each other 1 time in the finals, but golly, 4 times. This was a rivalry. This was considered a historical rivalry. I mean, Steph Curry to even want LeBron James, for the ownership to even go to him to try to clear this, it's just an absolute disgrace to the National Basketball Association. Adam Silver, he should be ashamed of himself for even allowing this chatter to go on, even allowing for these 2 teams to talk about a trade of this magnitude. And I get it. LeBron's sunsetting his career. He should have the opportunity to go and jump around to whatever team to chase rings. He's got 4 of them. And quite frankly, a Steph Curry, LeBron James title, how much does that mean to all of you? Doesn't mean anything to me. Salute to the Format Podcast. Salute to Bruce. I see you here. Yes, this is live. So happy to be back, Bruce. Yeah. Happy Friday. I see James in the audience. Salute to you, James. Ace of Rage. We have Lynetta 402, but I think that's actually Lucef. Whisper 1656. Salute to you. Salute to everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And yes, stand up. LeBron knows his legacy is trash at this point. Yes, but like, why do you want to keep making it worse? Could you imagine these two team up together? And I don't want to see it. I honestly, I didn't want to see it in the Olympics. LeBron James masquerading as point guard to rack up a triple double and steal the MVP from Steph Curry. Steph Curry's just going to do all the work, hit the tough shots for LeBron James. And then what? LeBron gets another finals MVP. He gets to ride the coattails of yet another superstar in this league. And of course, the resident LeBron fan, the LeBron stan, LeShannon Sharp, aka Ms. Netta. Of course, Shannon Sharp couldn't hesitate to react to something like this and to encourage it, actually, because somehow, probably in the media's eyes, if LeBron and Steph Curry team up together and continue to win titles or another title, that would pad LeBron's legacy further. Somehow that would be a good thing. And so I we're gonna react to ISO Joe pretty much begging for this trade. I mean, they're salivating, they're like creaming in their pants over this LeBron Steph link up, this potential team up. And so I want us to watch this together. I think very little of Shannon Sharp in his commentary. The best is when Shannon pretends that he doesn't know the actual story and who said what. It's really funny, and we'll get into that later. But here's the video of Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco, and ISO Joe. They're on Nightcap, pretty much begging for this trade to happen. And so let's hear it, guys.
The Warriors are making a strong push to bring LeBron James to Golden State. According to NBA insider Jake Fisher, the Warriors have contacted the Lakers on multiple occasions over the past 18 months to express interest in a trade for LeBron that would allow them to put him alongside Steph. We all know LeBron wants to contend for a championship. Would LeBron have a better chance of winning a championship with Luka or Steph, Joe?
Hey, if I had to choose, I'm going Steph, bro.
For sure.
Hey, listen,
proven commodity.
Not only proven, but he's just a guy who's going to command. I'm talking about Steph. He's going to command so much attention that LeBron will really get to play a natural position, which is like more of a facilitator. Yeah, he's going to probably still score about 22 to 25 points a night, but him facilitating, oh my God, I couldn't even.
And his ability to pass the ball with Steph's ability to move without the ball?
I have a question.
He's cheating again.
We talk about LeBron going to the Warriors, and where does that leave the Lakers in general? Because then it just Luka.
No, I mean you get Jimmy Butler, or you get Kuminga, because that's the only person.
So Jimmy's leaving the Warriors and going to LA.
They'll trade Jimmy, the Butler, the maid, and a couple other people to get LeBron to put it with Steph. Not just Jimmy.
But then that's just that's not enough though, Joe. That's just a two-headed monster down there in Golden State. That's not enough.
They got other guys. You can't make up like the little stuff that Draymond does, Ocho. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people take his presence for granted because he's not a scorer. But
yeah, he don't average 25 a night, so you minimize it.
Yeah, but
he play outstanding defense.
Whoa. Huh? Hold on. You mean like y'all just minimized me when I had a Draymond Green type performance at the
Yeah, we saw that double single.
Hold on. I had a Draymond Green type performance at the Big Three, and y'all minimize it because you don't appreciate what I bring to the table.
Draymond gave you a triple single.
Green.
You gave us a double single.
I am going to minimize Draymond Green's contribution to the team. I am. Being a nuisance, being somebody that's riding Steph Curry's coattails, I don't think that Draymond Green is the asset that the Warriors think that he is. I think that he should have been traded after 2016. I think that if Kevin Durant doesn't go to the Warriors, Draymond Green is not a Hall of Famer. He's probably not even still playing. His production is just not it. His antics on the court, I do not like those kinds of tactics in basketball. I don't. I mean, if you are genuinely a great rebounder and then you're a nuisance on defense, like a Pat Beverly, I think that he's a guy that he works hard. I call him the purse snatcher. And you see why he's in his role. Draymond Green, I don't see it. I don't see why Draymond Green is in his role. Steph Curry needs him there. What kind of leader is that? It's really hard when you want to put folks like Steph Curry, LeBron James above guys of any era when they can't even lead their team. So for LeBron James, he's just not the best player on his team, usually like ever. Can't actually finish and close, right? Can't hit the big shots. For Steph Curry, he can't be a real captain on his team without Draymond Green. He can't, reach back and lift up others. He can't control, the players on his team being him, Steph Curry. He needs Draymond there to go and make sure that maybe guys are passing him the ball or guys are doing what they're supposed to do or having the right attitude. Like, I just don't. And if Draymond Green is that sort of Udonis Haslem person, which I don't think he is, I think he's a locker room cancer. He is the reason why the Warriors don't have a good young core anymore. They haven't been able to really sort of create the next generation on their team. They're just living and dying off of Steph and Draymond and, maybe a big trade like what they got in Jimmy Butler, but they don't have like core, like depth on their bench that makes sense. They're going to get rid of Jonathan Kuminga. They got rid of Wiseman. They got rid of Jordan Poole, all because Draymond Green and his, I don't know what he brings because of Draymond Green's leadership. He ruined that 2016 title for them. He should have been gone. He ran off Kevin Durant. If you're not gone after 2016, then what kind of decision making is it to keep him after he runs Kevin Durant off that team? And then he's out here popping shit all over the place, his podcast, talking about how he's changed the game of basketball. How did you change it? What did you do? You created problems for the team on multiple occasions. Yes, Draymond Green has had good games. Yes, he can play defense. Okay, he was Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think that he's one of the best defenders ever. No. I wonder what story he'll be in the media for, like what will be trending with Draymond Green this upcoming season. Who's he going to choke this season because he gets frustrated that he can't actually produce? Draymond Green hits people on the court and he does things. He has these antics because he can't hack it without Steph. Usually when Steph is not on the floor, he has to throw a tantrum, whether it's with the refs to try to get teed up and ejected from the game, or with Rudy Gobert when he's doing all these things, Sabonis, like whatever it might be. All of these incidents usually stem from, Draymond Green doesn't want to step up when Steph Curry isn't playing. He doesn't want the responsibility, or he just simply thinks that he deserves a night off because he's a star. So if LeBron is not playing, he should get the night off too. If Steph is not playing, oh, well, I'm just going to throw a tantrum so I can sit down. He's a coattail rider. But anyhow, LeBron James and Steph Curry being on the same team together is an absolute disgrace. I don't want to see it. What do you guys think? I mean, why do you think this story even keeps coming up? How do they make this trade work? They just give up Kuminga to the Lakers, and the Lakers just want Kuminga so bad to give up LeBron James, all because he's making waves and asking sort of in a passive aggressive way, asking for a trade left and right. He's disrespecting the Lakers by saying, hey, Lakers are not ready to contend, even though you have Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton. Like, how many pieces do you need on that team to contend? Why aren't they a contender? Why aren't you a contender with Luka Doncic? Or is it just that you want to be the story? So LeBron knows if he goes to the Warriors, that's not going to be his team, but he can still dominate, the media and maybe have some sort of mind control over Steph Curry. Who knows? I mean, why the hell does Steph Curry even want him there? There was a time, I think it was in 2020 or 20, like there was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, where there were rumors of LeBron potentially going to the Warriors, and apparently Steph was asked about it, and he said, "Nah, I'm good." I remember that. Maybe it was after Kevin Durant left. I don't quite remember. It might have been when they were both in the play-in tournament, and the Lakers eliminated the Warriors from the play-in. That might have been when Steph was just like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to team up with LeBron." And the idea of this, it makes me absolutely sick. It's Steph Curry. People need to stop praising Steph Curry and saying, oh, well, LeBron would be going to his team. No, he should not want that. He should be outspoken about not wanting to team up with LeBron. It's been great to compete against him. Nope. Great to play with him on the Olympics. That was our chance. That was what you guys were able to see. But we don't need to be competing on the same team in the NBA. We competed against each other as rivals, and people need that memory, not us being teammates. I mean, okay. I like this comment. The Olympics really exposed him, because if you watched it, you could see he wasn't the best player. And so many times they counted on other players to give them out, never him. Yeah. I mean, the turnovers in the Olympics I don't think that any particular game exposes LeBron. He plays the same. High turnover. Other players look like poop playing next to him. I mean, Steph Curry looked awful for majority of these games playing alongside LeBron. I don't want to see them team up. Yeah, Steph Curry can move without the ball. Yes, he can. LeBron James isn't going to pass him the ball in the right moments. That's the problem. LeBron James is going to give up the ball prior to getting a turnover. LeBron James is going to pad the stat because he's got something to prove. Can't help himself. But yes, Steph and Bron teaming up would be disgraceful. I completely agree with that. Something else I want to quickly mention to you guys is, did you guys notice that the top Lakers of all time, Bleacher Report reported, and they reportedly left LeBron James off this list? Like, what do you guys think about that? I mean, top Laker, how can he be considered one of the greatest Lakers? Derek Fisher made the list and he didn't, and I agree with that. I would pick any Laker that won multiple titles over LeBron James. This stint with the Lakers has been a failure. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Did he deserve to make this list? Did he actually deserve to be on it instead of a Derek Fisher? What do you guys think? She's got facts. Look at when the Lakers eliminated GSW. That was because Draymond didn't step forward and help, and he just led that series, and I believe he gave them the tactics to. Yeah, I mean, Draymond Green is a fraud. He does not deserve his place in the Hall of Fame that he's, supposedly going to get. I think Derek Fisher is legit too, and the story behind Derek Fisher's journey with the Lakers, it's really a great one. It's an emotional one. He won titles with them. I forget what team he was traded to. that he was eventually traded back to the Lakers out of leniency, when his daughter was ill. But yeah, Derek Fisher had a great career with the Lakers, and I respect his time with them more than LeBron James. I think he was a real point guard for them. What he was able to do offensively and defensively, when you're able to play your position, I think that that's one of the greatest forms of basketball that we could actually see. So, I have no problem with LeBron James being left off this list. Quite frankly, um, yeah, I don't think he belongs as being considered one of the greatest Lakers. And I hope they don't retire his jersey, and I hope they don't give him a statue because it's just not deserved. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? Feel free to call in. Talk to me nice. Would love to hear from you guys. I'll continue to read some comments in the meantime. You think it's easy to get into the Hall of Fame? I think it is easy to get into the Hall of Fame in the NBA, but we do have our first caller. Salute to you. Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice.
Hey, what's going on, Dom? Long time no talk to.
Hey, T-Bird. Oh, I'm so glad to be back, man. I was sick, but so grateful to be back on this lovely Friday. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Up early, doing my thing. All right, you want me to cook on the three things you just covered real quick?
Oh my God, certainly. Go right on ahead. What do you think?
All right, I absolutely don't want to see LeBron and Curry team up. I agree with you. I'm just surprised that Steph would even consider it when they had an opportunity to do it before. What's up, Eighth of Rage? They had an opportunity to do it before, and Steph said, "No, I'm good." And the reason I don't want to see them team up because I think LeBron's competition over the last 10, 12 years has been Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry edges him out over, the player of their, recent generation. And to join up, it would just be a disservice to all NBA fans out there. We want to see, if anything, I want to see Steph get another ring and, and then really cement his legacy over LeBron. Next thing, Draymond. Draymond, I agree with you 100%. I think it's a two-headed monster, though. So I will give Draymond credit for helping, the Warriors in their dynasty. The role that he played was good for him because I don't think Steph's a good leader at all. But at the same time, he absolutely destroyed a dynasty. I've never seen a player help build a dynasty and then single-handedly destroy a dynasty. I think his time is up. I don't think they should have renewed him. They should have kept Poole. They should have chose Durant 100% over Draymond. They should have kept Poole over Draymond. Just imagine if they would have had Durant and Jordan Poole, if that was possible,
They should have kept Clay over Draymond. And you know what?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
just before I forget, I want to respond to your point. I love the point that you made that not only did he build the dynasty, but he wrecked it. But that's part of it. That's part of his whole plan in a sense. When you are on a team, right? You're trying to secure, your legacy, or not even just a legacy, but you want to elongate your career. What are you going to do? You're going to try to make yourself indispensable. So that's what he's been able to do. Somehow he's convinced the front office and Steph Curry and the team that he needs to be there. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's some sort of, we know that he's with Rich Paul in Clutch Sports. So who knows, what Rich Paul has done to ensure that Draymond Green continues to play in this league and has a contract.
Right. I agree with that 100%. And the last thing, I think the Golden State Warriors can make maybe a push towards the finals. I don't think they'll win, but they got two pieces that they can trade. They got Jimmy Butler. I was never a fan of Jimmy Butler going there. I was never a fan of Jimmy anyway because I think he's done. My last couple of seasons, he's just has not been him, and you've seen in the playoffs. when the media, everybody's saying, Jimmy, we're not saying you need to score 30. You at least need to take 20 shots, and he just wouldn't do it. It's just getting older. His body's done. But they got Jimmy. His contract is crazy, but they got Kaminga too. With those two, if you can get rid of them, you could get maybe, I don't know if somebody two players are really good out there they could trade for, but they could make a run. But in conclusion, LeBron, fraud. I don't want to see him team up with Steph. I think that would absolutely hurt LeBron's trash legacy more, and I think it would finally bring a negative light onto Curry and his mentality towards the game, at the end. So I don't want to see it happen, but that's just my takes on it. What do I know, Dom?
I love everything you said. Quite frankly, I not only do I think that this is a major a major slight on Steph Curry's legacy, because what would happen if LeBron James goes there is that, I do believe that somehow folks will try to spin it that, oh, it's LeBron James going to his team. This is still Steph Curry's town, right? But I do think that he would finally suffer the consequences of teaming up and building super teams if LeBron James should join him there. I don't think that Golden State Warriors want him, like those fans. I live here in the Bay, and they don't want LeBron James here. They don't. They don't want him here. They don't want his family here. Could you imagine LeBron James and Bronny coming to the Warriors? That is just not, to me, that's not Warriors culture. That's not what the fans want to see.
Right.
And I can't imagine for the life of me why Steph Curry would want it, why he would want to ruin his legacy in this fashion to team up with LeBron James. I can't believe that it's because of what we saw in the Olympics. He looked like shit the majority of that time, playing with, the turnover king, playing with the stat patter. Their team is going to suffer. The ball movement will not be there with LeBron James at the point guard. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, Dom, you are absolutely killing it. I agree with you. And you brought up something that I can't speak about. Like, you live on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. From me over here, it looks like there isn't no team on the West Coast that would accept him. The only coast that could possibly accept him would be the East, and it would probably be back in Cleveland. And also, I just don't. If you look at Golden State's roster, if you add LeBron, I don't see what he brings to them, because what they need, they need a center.
He brings turnovers.
Well, of course, they need a center, and they need youth, and they need young legs and explosiveness. And that's everything LeBron isn't. I just don't see the positivity and you can't say, oh, we're bringing LeBron to put butts in the seat, because they already sell out. So I just don't see, maybe the sideshow, we bring LeBron and Bronny and it's just a spectacle. But other than that, it's nothing basketball related, that they're going to benefit from. Maybe it's jersey sales. I just don't know what he adds to them on the floor, because he's absolutely what they do not need. Older person, they need to get younger. And that's just my take on it.
I couldn't agree with you more. They need to get younger, but they can't get younger. And there's a couple of things that need to happen. So Draymond Green needs to be out of the league, or, go to the Washington Wizards, or go to Detroit Pistons. Maybe that could be a good home for him. Bad boy culture. Maybe he could revive that there and really bring a level of toughness to that young core, right? That could be a good, I've heard of him potentially going to the Pistons, and that would have been great. But I think the problem is they really need to fire Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has dementia. Okay. Steve Kerr, I think that not only does he have dementia, but he's suffering with PTSD. Draymond Green has completely punked him. I know that he walks by him and just flexes at him, and Steve Kerr, probably has flashbacks of getting punched in the face by Michael Jordan and is just, waiting for it. waiting for Draymond Green to do something. I'm sure he already has, just based on what we saw that was leaked of what he did to Jordan Poole. You can punch Jordan Poole. Think about how many times he raised up and pressed Steve Kerr and scared him, into submission or whatever it is that he wanted him to do, whether it was playing him on the court or whatever. But Steve Kerr needs to be fired. Every single season, he falls in love with a player that has no business being on the floor, like Pajemski,
Agreed.
and then he invests in that player and then forgets about, and this is where the dementia comes in, forgets about what he's supposed to actually be doing, whether it's putting Steph in or, like literally he forgets to play Steph Curry in critical game moments. And I just,
Agreed.
even just the benching of Jason Tatum in the Olympics, somebody who just won a title. You have dementia. Okay. And look, there are plenty of basketball reasons to actually bench Jason Tatum, but Steve Kerr didn't use any of those filters in that decision making. Okay. And additionally,
Agreed.
he just does not, his substitution patterns are awful. He does not know what to do down the stretch. If they don't have the game won in the third quarter, God help you. That is the situation. I don't believe in him being able to coach anybody else. He can't coach anybody else other than Steph, Draymond, because Draymond is really the coach on the floor. Okay. And that core. And so he's failed to develop any other players on that team. Complete failure. He could not even figure out Klay Thompson's new role. So I blame Steve Kerr for majority of the personnel changes and why they needed to happen, and the fact that they can't develop a young core, bring in a center, because he doesn't know. Steve Kerr does not know how to coach to inside-outside game. He does not know how to coach centers. He only knows how to coach Steph Curry. That's all he knows. That's all he knows what to do. He has been successful by taking the Mark Jackson team that Mark Jackson developed and just rolling with that. They were already on their way and he just came in there. And so I don't see brilliant coaching decisions from from Steve Kerr. I just don't. And because of that, I think that the Warriors will not win another title as long as he continues to be the coach, as long as he cannot develop young players and move on. He's not willing to move on from the group of players that he coached that won a title, that core. And, we just saw it with Klay Thompson that they let him go, but that was just because they could not part ways with Draymond.
Dom, you are on fire, and I'm gonna leave it there. And let me just get my shout outs real quick, and I'm gonna let you go. Shout out to the mods. I'm seeing the mods; they are super holding you down. They getting it in. As we was talking, I'm watching all the mods. Shout out to brother Juma, Ace of Rage, my girl, Spurs in, love you. Everybody doing a good job. I see a guy, Alpha Sigger. He's been on fire in your chat, and he's been saying some good stuff. I see you got a new mod in there, A1 Gravy. Shout out to you, salute. And Dom, you on fire. Your points is just, goated. So keep up the good work, and I'll catch you maybe on the next topic or two.
Thanks so much, T-Bert, for calling in. Really appreciate you.
All right, talk to y'all.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. I know that the next topic says Michael Jordan, but I would have been just remiss if I did not pick up the Ty Lue interview with Club Shay Shay. Oh, it looks like someone else wanted to call in, so let me just go ahead and take this last call. Thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice.
Hello, Dom. How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Who do we have on the line?
This is Maury.
Maury, nice to hear from you. Talk to me nice. What do you think about why the Steph Curry and LeBron James team up is continuing to circulate? What do you think about LeBron James not being considered a greatest Laker?
Okay, so let me start with the whole old Papa Laker thing with LeBron. So me personally, I think they got the list right. LeBron's tenure with the Lakers, if you really think about it, has been a failure. Like, like he's been there for like since from 2018 to 2025. So that's how many years? 2018 to 2025, 7 years. Or out of all those 7 years you've been with the Lakers, like you've only won one bubble chip. Versus a guy like Derek Fisher, who who's been to seven finals appearances and then one spot. So like if you factor those out, like five beats and one meaningless bubble chip, and like with all and when you really think about it, like all the moves that that the Lakers have made for LeBron versus all the moves that they made for Kobe, like there's no comparison. Like they've given this dude so much help from Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, Andre Drummond, and and now like they have Luka Doncic, and you couldn't even beat the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that you guys were favored to easily win. And we already know like when it comes to LeBron, he doesn't make his teammates better. So like no, he doesn't deserve to be he doesn't deserve to be in the all-time Laker list as far as I'm concerned. If it was up to me, he would be in amongst one of the bottom. And then let's go with the whole chatter with LeBron and Steph teaming up and stuff like that. It it already gave me a bad taste in my mouth that when Report or came out came up with this best player since the 21st century. It already left a bad taste that uh, guys like um guys like LeBron, Steph, hell, for freaking Nikola Jokic was already ahead of a guy like Kobe Bean Bryant, and and I feel like it's very blasphemous, especially and not just Jokic, but Steph in particular. Like guys stand up for doing this point. If KD never went to the Warriors, there's the Warriors trajectory, yeah, how they would have looked. Uh, it would
Maury, your
like
sound is a little
we would have
low.
seen it.
Maury, your sound is breaking up a little bit. Can you
Can you hear
turn
me
up?
now?
I can hear you better. Yeah, it feels a little more clear.
Okay. So when I look like if KD never went to the Warriors, we would have seen the Warriors a lot differently. He like man down, you and a few other YouTubers had mentioned like we would have remembered them as a team that had the most regular season wins and blew a 3-1 lead in the biggest stage in the NBA Finals. And the fact that you have a guy like Draymond who's a complete cancer to that locker room and drive out guys, young guys like Jordan Poole and and before even that got uh, got Sadie out of the Warriors, it just shows you the dysfunction within that team. Granted,
Absolutely.
granted, they won one more championship without Katie, but when it comes to the entire their core in general, like they can't figure it out. Like Steve Kerr cannot control his players. There's Draymond is just like a ticking time bomb. And the reason why he's like that is because if he knows it, and almost everyone knows it. put him in a team with trash with a trash organization. Put him in a losing franchise. Draymond's not doing anything, and so the way I see it, like if LeBron and Steph team up, that's gonna it's not just gonna damage LeBron's legacy. It's also gonna damage Steph's legacy because
No, for
hey
sure. And let
like
me I'm gonna wrap this call up just so that we can move on to the next topic because I want to address Club Shay Shay. But thank you so much, Maury, for your call. I really you made a lot of great points, and I think that no matter how
thank
this
you.
shakes out, I mean, just even for me, the conversation of LeBron considering a trade to the Warriors, it's just an absolute disgrace. Shouldn't even be a topic of conversation. And it just goes to the mentality of today's players that they don't want to compete. And then they want to get all salty and butthurt when guys like Charles Barkley come out and say, you don't want to compete. It- Where is the
Yep.
competition? How do you want to compete if you want to team up with your rival? So
And
there
they
just
called Charles
is
Barkley
there
a
just
hater,
no,
and
oh,
he's
not
right.
only a hater, they called him so many things. I mean, LeBron James came out and attacked his entire th- like him as a person because he said that he didn't want to compete. He talked about
Yeah,
spitting
that
on
shows how
kids,
sensitive
throwing
he is.
somebody out of a window. He completely annihilated Charles Barkley personally because he said that he
Hmm.
didn't want to compete. And all we've seen is that LeBron James doesn't want to compete. Every 4 years, he just teams up with a younger player that can hit the shots for him and do all of the things that he can't do. All he does is find players that
Hmm.
that satisfy the holes in his game. That's all LeBron James does, season over season. That's why he's got mid-season trades because what can I do? How can I impact, this other team where they have players that do things that I can't do. So let me bring more superstars on my team. That's just all that LeBron James does. So, Maury, thank you so much for your phone call. Really appreciate you calling in and talking to us
Thank
nice.
you.
Thank you
Have a
so
good one.
much. You too. Bye-bye. Wow, wow, wow. So that was a loaded topic, and I want to thank you guys for for joining. Don't forget, guys, as you load into the room, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share the video. Share the video with your friends, your family. Let's blow the sports tea community up. And I do want to take a moment to go to the next topic. We are going to get into this Ty Lue interview with Club Shay Shay. I have to say that it was a really good interview. I don't love Shannon Sharp and listening to him and his commentary at all. I don't love majority of his takes, but I did appreciate this interview because for once I didn't think that it was like an interview that was centered around Ty Lue, what he thought who the GOAT is. It wasn't about that. It was over 2 hours long, and really it was about Ty Lue's journey as a player, as a coach in the NBA, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was he told some really great stories. I want to break down this interview for you guys. We are going to be here for a little bit because there were a lot of great things that he said, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about some of the stories that he shared and the anecdotes that he's taken with him throughout his career as a player, as a coach. He touched upon a lot of really, really interesting things. I mean, he what I appreciate about Ty Lue is that he seems to have high character. He's had some difficult roles in the NBA, coaching LeBron James, and having to navigate that. Even in this interview with Shannon Sharp, I think that there were some clear ground rules. I think that Ty Lue didn't want to get into who the GOAT was. He didn't want to have a big discussion about that. I think that he made that clear to Shannon Sharp before he agreed to do this interview. I think he wanted the interview focused on him and his experiences, not just the clickbait things that we all love to talk about so much. So that's what I really appreciated, just the quality of his answers and the professionalism that he exudes and the classiness of, just the way that he talks about other people and players. And there's moments where he keeps it real, he keeps it hood, and I appreciate that too. So I want to talk to you guys about Ty Lue and just the way that he remembered Kobe Bryant and Shaq. He didn't remember them being a bad, duo in the end. He didn't feel like Shaq was some cancer on the team in the end, the way that it was reported. He thinks that they should have stayed together. He wishes they could have stayed together forever. He believes that if they did stay together, they would have won upwards of 8 titles. He talked about Kobe Bryant's work ethic, how amazing of a player he was. And of course, it sort of starts off with, him, not thinking at all that Kobe Bryant shouldn't be included in a top 10 or a GOAT discussion. That's not how he sees it. And he does quickly sort of say, and he doesn't want to, I'm telling you, this interview is not about who the GOAT is. That's not it. But he does throw us little nuggets about who we could imagine that he believes the GOAT to be. I'm sure he, views the GOAT as Michael Jordan. That's pretty clear in the interview. But, when he talks about Kobe Bryant and him not being included in the GOAT discussion briefly, very briefly, and not included in this top 10 list from, Bleacher Report, he just says this was my era. He falls back to, this is my era. I'm going to defend, my era, the fraternity that I know. So I really appreciated that about him as well. Like he doesn't want to get into this debate. He doesn't want to get flamed. And people, of course, still picked apart this interview and they figured out what things they wanted to blow up and make a huge deal of. In particular, he did talk about the fact that he would have moved forward with the trade for SGA, knowing what he knows now. He thinks that it was still a great move for SGA. And at the end of the day, at the time, they were in a win now mode and SGA was new. He was new. He was not developed. He was not the player, obviously, that we see today. So how could they not trade for Paul George and to pair him with Kawhi Leonard? They viewed it as sort of like a MJ Scottie Pippen situation, which I thought was an interesting, super interesting comparison and actually accurate. But let's just jump right into the first clip that I want to play for you guys where, he talks about Kobe and Shaq. And he talks about, their ability to win 8 titles if they would have stayed together. So I want to play that for you guys now. Here are some really interesting tidbits, and we'll react together.
He was like a miniature LeBron. Like he was unstoppable in transition, and so he definitely was the hardest guy I had to guard, in my career.
Kobe, you were close to Kobe, and did you guys played a lot of ones?
Yeah.
You get it?
Never. Because this guy right here. So a funny story is, my second year, I think 8th game of the season, I got hurt, so I had to get microfracture surgery.
Okay.
And Kobe broke his hand, and so when we got better, just rehabbing or whatever. So for 3 months, me and Kobe worked out every single day. The team was on the road. It's just me and Kobe. And so me and my cousin Doodle, we'd go to the gym and we'd play one-on-one full court.
Right.
And I could never beat him. Like I could, because I was a great one-on-one player.
Right.
And so we be in the car, we get back and say, man, why you can't beat him? Like I said, man, I don't know. Like I just can't beat him. And then 2 years later, he became Kobe. Like, oh, I see why. I see why I could never beat him. But people don't get the chance to see. Kobe had that man handle the ball on the string.
Yeah.
All that and one stuff. And he had all that.
Right.
Never lost the handle. When you talk about guys skill wise, he was one of the baddest guys ever. And so somebody had to clean up. I want to clean up today.
Yes, sir.
And I talked to John Sally already. So he told a story on a podcast about Kobe was on the plane and he was bobbing his head he was listening to music.
Right.
And so we was at the car table playing cards, and John Sally said, "You're not listening to music, are you?" He's like, "You listen to everything everybody's saying." He was like, "Yeah, I'm listening to everybody." He's like, "Why are you doing that?" And he was like, to see somebody talking about. He said, "Nobody talking about it. So I just want to make sure I know what's going on." Or whatever. But John Sally told a story that I was talking shit about Kobe. I'm like, "Kobe, I would never." He said, "No, I didn't say that. It got cut in the snip. How he did?" I said, "No, you got to clean that up because that's my guy."
Right.
And I would never talk shit about Kobe. So he said he got a podcast with the same people 2 weeks from now. And he's going to clean it up because that's not the way it happened. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Did you know? Because sometimes people man, Did you know he would be that?
I did.
From working out with him, because like you said, you working out behind the scenes, and because I mean, everybody remember. I remember 17-year-old and Dale Harris getting an opportunity at Utah, and he airballed in the last shot. That's what people like. Well, damn, I'm like, everybody keeps saying he gonna be good. He gonna be good. I'm like, well, damn. But I did factor in. I was like, dude's supposed to be a senior in high school, really though. I mean, he ain't supposed to be in the NBA. You could tell that he was gonna be that. He's gonna be Kobe.
Yeah, but not to factor in the airball. To factor in, he took those shots. The mentality, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The mentality to take those shots.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Because a lot of times people shy away from it.
They don't want it. Yeah, they don't want it. You know, and I've seen that. And so at 17, 18 years old, to have the mentality to take those shots and shoot the air balls. Like the thing about Kobe, which is different, you know, is I've never heard him talk about money. Like how much money he made or how much money. It was always about he wanted to be the greatest. Like I want to be the best. And to see the work he put in every single day, you can tell that's what he wanted to do.
Right.
And just from like being there at 5 o'clock in the morning, being the first guy there, working on his body. What 17-year-old guy, you know, is working on their body, you know, getting the, you know, the soft tissue stuff, eating right.
Mature way beyond his years.
Yeah, like nobody's doing that.
Right.
You know, and so to see all the stuff that he did at that age, it was just phenomenal. You knew he was gonna be, I knew he was gonna be great. Like had no doubts about that. Just the work he put in and how hard he worked. It was gonna happen.
But I think I forget the outlet. They had Kobe ranked the 11th best player in the history of the game. You played with Kobe. You played in this league. You coached in this league for a number of years. The 11th best player?
I would never say that, but it's my era. I don't know, you know, like back in the day, I can't speak on how great guys was back then because you say like the TV outlets, the games wasn't on TV.
But
you heard about
games would take delayed until.
Yeah. So you never saw it.
Right.
But in my era, if I had to pick and choose and say, was he better than the guys back in the day? Oh, no question at all. Right. Like no question. I mean, to win 5 championships, like I said, to win 2, you know what I'm saying, without Shaq, we thought would never happen. And to do all the things he did, like, come on, man, like, no, definitely not 11. That's crazy.
Had Shaq and Kobe stayed together, let's just say they would have had a harmonious relationship. I'm trying to think. It's hard to say because Stockton and Malone wasn't on that level. Stockton was the best player. There was no question about it. No ifs, and a but. It's hard to say Pippen and Jordan. Jordan was the best player. There's no ifs, and a but. But when you got 2 guys and you got 2 thoroughbreds and they're running and they looking eye to eye, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. I'm the best.
In the world. Not on a team.
Yeah. The world.
In the world, yeah.
Had they been able to coincide, let's just say for another 3 years, how many championships do you think they win?
They could have won 8. They could have won 8. And if, you know I wasn't there for the Detroit series or whatever. And I'm glad my best friend Chauncey got a championship. You know like there was some bickering back and forth then. Like they could have, easily won that. But if they stayed together, they won 7, 8 championships. Like could nobody beat that dude. Like somebody might have slipped up and won. Like, Detroit won, you know, and they had a hell of a team. And the job they did was phenomenal. But okay, if you leave outside that year and come back the next 3, nobody's beating.
I agree. I mean, imagine if they stayed together. I think that loss that they had in 2004 was crushing, and I think that they would have been able to bounce back from that. I think that they would have taken that embarrassing loss and turned that around, you know, if they just weren't going through the problems that they were going through. If Shaq, I think, was a little bit more mature, if he was a different kind of leader by example, if he was not making excuses for, you know, his lack of physical fitness. And I think if Kobe was a little bit more mature, I mean, some of the things that he did as a teammate, pretty awful and unforgivable in those moments, you know? So I think Ty Lue, I really enjoyed that clip because, you know, he just spoke from a place of playing alongside those 2 players, seeing the hard work that they put in, seeing, obviously they won 3 in a row together, a 3-peat, that's a big deal. And you can't just capture that with anybody, right? Ty Lue he addressed T-Mac, believing that, you know, if you put him on the Lakers, he would have been able to win with Shaq. And Kwame Brown absolutely torched T-Mac, and he deserved it. I mean, the whole coulda, woulda, shoulda, houlda, nobody cares. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, houlda. You had multiple opportunities to win titles, and you didn't. Multiple stars you played with, T-Mac. couldn't get out of the first round. So I don't know how that equates to you would have won with Shaq. Ty Lue brings up excellent points. Would he have won with Shaq? Would he have been able to push Shaq to motivate him on the floor? Would he have been able to pick up the slack when Shaq didn't? Would he have had the work ethic that Kobe Bryant had? The determination to win. I mean, he didn't make it out of the first round for a variety of reasons. We don't have to get into it, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, houlda. That's what T-Mac is. Coulda, woulda. I could have. It's all doesn't really make sense to get into that. So I really enjoyed that clip with Ty Lue. There was another part of the interview that I found really interesting. And Ty Lue addresses why he didn't take the Lakers head coach position. And I thought that that was interesting. And I thought it was something for us to chew on because, I mean, Lakers don't typically offer more than 2 years at a time. So I believe they offered JJ Redick 4 years, which I think is disgusting. But they wanted to go 2 years at a time. They gave Darvin Ham 2 years, and he had experience. Yet they offered JJ Redick a 4-year deal with no experience, no head coaching, no accomplishments even as a player. He accomplished nothing as a player. He never won. He went to the finals, played like a pumpkin in the finals, could not defend. I wouldn't trust him as a head coach. What did you even do in the NBA that makes you qualified? But here's Ty Lue on why he didn't take the job. So obviously Ty Lue was offered. That was a real thing. And Shannon Sharp asked him, okay, the Lakers, there was a vacant role with the Lakers. Why didn't you go there? LeBron wanted you. What's the story there? And he tells it.
The Lakers had a vacancy. You was in the running. I think LeBron called you a couple of times, wanted you to take the job. Why didn't you take the job? I mean, you played for the Lakers. I mean, I think it's always a good story when a guy can go back and coach the team that he played for.
I would have loved it. I mean, it'd been a dream come true. Yeah.
Why didn't you take the job?
One, they offered me short years. They offered me 3 years, and I want to do 5.
Right.
I guess they were trying to tie me to LeBron. 2, the money was low. And
no. Don't they know the cost of living in LA?
Well, I'm saying it wasn't low for me personally, the money. It was low for the head coach and for what it meant to everybody else going forward.
Right.
It's kind of like, the Players Association. If you take a bad deal, they're gonna give us all bad deals.
Right.
And so I just felt, for me, being a championship coach and being Black,
right,
I thought it was up to me to make sure I set the standard.
Got to take a stand.
Yeah, if I take a bad deal, then what's everybody else gonna get? So
a worse deal.
Yeah, a worse. So I just thought it was up to me, to make sure I did that.
Right.
And then it's hard because loyalty is tough, but then I couldn't pick my coaching staff. Well, they wouldn't let me pick my coaching staff, so they was gonna pick my coaching staff for me, and so I had to leave a lot of guys behind.
Whoa. What do you mean? Pick your coaching staff?
They wanted to pick my staff for me.
So in other words, instead of saying I want to hire, John Drew or this guy, that guy, they're like, no, you got him, and him.
Yeah.
But you don't know them like that.
I knew some of the guys. I mean, it wasn't a thing where I didn't like the guys they wanted me to hire. My thing was just leaving guys behind.
Right.
Like, so if I'm fired and my guys are out of work, then I get a job and just say, "Oh, forget them," and just leave them behind. Like, we won a championship together.
Right.
We went to 4 straight finals together.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so what we've done, we showed it worked. And so I just felt that wasn't something that I wanted to do. And so those 3 things kind of nipped it in the bud, and we went. I mean, it wasn't no bad blood. Like, it was what it was.
It wasn't.
And then Monty Williams, saved the world. Saying, getting that big deal.
Yeah.
And then because we had coaches meetings in Chicago, just talking about it's going to be hard to fire coaches if we make more money.
Right.
And so they don't really respect us as leaders, as an organization. Like, we run a $1 billion organization. They don't really respect us. Like, we getting $3-4 million. I mean, it's a lot of money. But I'm just saying, like, in the coaching world, they can just let you go. They paying, some teams paying 3, 4, 5 coaches. What I'm saying? But like Monty Williams, so I told Steve Kerr, I told
Phoenix,
I told Doc, I told Spo, like, because this was like 4 years, like, y'all the face of the league as far as coaches. Like, y'all got to get the money up.
Right,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're like, well, whatever. And so 2 years later, Monty goes and gets
Get the
big
bag
deal
with
in
Detroit.
Yeah. And then he gets the bag, then Spo, then Steve Kerr, then Pop, and then me. You know what I'm saying? And then now everything's gone up, and so and I think it's fair. I think, when you have a coach and there's 15 players and you like the 14th highest paid player. I mean, out of the players and the coaches, like that ain't fair.
Yeah.
Like, and so I thought he did a really good job of just, showing appreciation for coaches and because it's a hard job.
He's right. And the way that coaches have been made so indispensable, no matter what the accomplishments are. Frank Vogel wins a title in the bubble with the Lakers and gets knocked out in the first round and then can't coach Russell Westbrook, so he's fired. I mean, just awful sort of business that these teams are doing in the league. I mean, look at Tom Thibodeau, and I think he deserved to be fired, actually, but the way that it looks is that he was accomplished. He took a team to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then he's fired. And I mean, again, if you were given direction by your boss that you do not follow repeatedly, I think it's time to get fired. But that's not necessarily the standard in the coaching world and the way that the organizations operate. So, was his firing, did he deserve it? I mean, I do think so. But again, it's about standards and consistency, right, throughout the league. And I think that that's what, most organizations sort of look at. And there's a lot of inconsistencies with head coaches in the NBA. And, some are just valued more than others. And, the fact of the matter is that Ty Lue made some great points about, hey, if I accept a bad deal, I'm setting a bad precedent for those who come after me. And regardless of the race of the coach, even Dan Hurley, he was offered a bad deal by the Lakers. He wasn't going to accept that bad deal. It sets a really bad precedent. And again, when you are somebody that the Lakers are likely to fire in 1 or 2 seasons, I mean, when was the last time the Lakers had a coach there for 4 years? So they're investing in JJ Redick. They offered him 4 years. They offered a guy who his experience was on a podcast, a 4-year deal. That's what they offered. A 4-year deal. And you're absolutely right. Ty Lue was disrespected by the Lakers. It was absolutely disgusting, in my opinion, because, again, he asked for a 5-year deal. And they only offered him 3, but then they were willing to give JJ Redick 4 years, but they weren't willing to give Darvin Ham more than 2 years. Who had experience and already won a title with the Bucks. That man won a historic championship, but Lakers want to pay an effing podcast clown more. Precisely. And I don't think that his salary would have been so JJ Redick, I don't even think is making that much money. I think he's making $8 million over 4 years, which isn't a whole lot. So Ty Lue probably would have been able to command a higher salary than that. It wasn't the salary for Ty Lue, it was the length of time. He didn't want a 3-year deal. He wanted a 5-year deal. And I think deservedly so, because would he have even made it past 2 years with the Lakers? He deserves to be paid out on 5 years just for even going there. To me, you're putting an extra 10 years on your life. Ty Lue still has some hair that's not gray. The whole head would be gray if he goes to the Lakers and is working, alongside LeBron James and Clutch Sports and having to coach his bum son and figure out how to make it work with Carlton Banks and the crew. And then he's going to have, another bum son come on the team to, take up another roster spot. And Ty Lue would have to figure that out. He would have to figure out how to help the entire James family continue to be purse snatchers in this league and also try to find a way to win a title. Ty Lue didn't mention that part. He didn't mention the part that, I don't think he really wanted to come back and coach LeBron James. I think, of course, being a head coach of the Lakers is special. That's something that you'd want to do, especially when you played for that team and won a title with them. But I just don't think that I just don't think that LeBron James is coachable. So he needs a coach that he can control. JJ Redick is the perfect person for that. And I mean, they're a match made in heaven. And the Lakers, the organization, they're getting what they deserve right now with him as head coach. No adjustments in the playoffs, no refusing to play the bench, kind of almost like Thibodeau. JJ Redick should be on a path headed to getting fired as well because he doesn't know how to coach Luka Doncic. Let's be for real. But anyhow, I do want to talk about one more thing that Ty Lue mentioned. And there were just so many good things. But Ty Lue, he talked about today's league briefly. He talked about Michael Jordan briefly, what it was like to play with him, some of the best lessons that he learned from MJ. But one of the most important things that he mentioned was MJ's ability to score in today's league, you know, and when he talked about that, his ability to score in today's league and you know, just what he would do, he said that he would score 45. He would average 45. And so, you know, I thought it was really great for us to chat about, you know, whether or not Ty Lue's contract request from the Lakers was realistic. I think it was a realistic request, but it wasn't realistic for the Lakers. And so now when we get into the next part of the interview that I want to talk about with, you know, his time with MJ, you know, do we really believe that he would have scored 45 points? You know, on average, would he have averaged 45 in the league? I think that he would have. Michael Jordan is one of the greatest scorers, if not the greatest scorers I've ever seen play the game. I think that LeBron James being the leading scorer of all time is deceptive. We watched Michael Jordan in the different levels at which he could score and his ability on the court to do so many things. I mean, when you talk about basketball IQ, Michael Jordan had it. That was basketball IQ. He was just so smart. And I don't think that players are as smart today. I don't think that they are as gifted today as Michael Jordan. And I think that he would run circles around these guys. With a lack of physicality that is present in the league today, there's just no way that Michael Jordan wouldn't go off. So, you know, I want to play this last clip from the Club Shay Shay interview with Ty Lue, and we'll react together.
You end up at Washington with 40-year-old Jordan. Obviously, he's not the same. He's not the first three-peat. He's not the end three-peat. He's taking time off and he comes back. But could you see why he was Michael Jordan?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, you see a guy that's 40 years old and he averaged 21 points a game on one leg. See, people don't take into consideration, like, he played on one leg, one knee,
right,
you know, for 2 years.
Right.
And he averaged 20 points a game, you know. And so I could just see just coming in to the gym, like Kobe, like I said, was a super worker. And you see a guy like Jordan, you know, you come to practice, you know, 2 hours early, think you coming in about to work out. Jordan's already done. Lathered up, done lifted, sweat on the court, did all his footwork stuff, all his basketball stuff. Like, damn, like I came 2 hours early. He's already done at 40. So what was he like at 23, 24, 25? You know, and so you knew that's why he was who he was. And so when I first walked in, I was in awe, like to be able to play with somebody you looked up to and idolized your whole life, and to be, you know,
he don't even seem real, does it?
No,
People think I'm lying when I say that. The first time I saw him,
yeah,
he levitating, and I'm looking at this man. He probably think he like, man, Sterling Sharp, little brother, look crazy. Because I'm looking at him like he's not real.
Yeah.
T-Lou, he not real.
And when people see him, like, you know, he never had a lot of security.
No,
like, but when people see him, they stop. Like, because they're like in awe, like, oh, that's my, and before you can really say something, he's already gone.
No.
Like, it wasn't a lot of crowd control,
Right.
like, because like you see him and you just freeze.
Right.
Like all the other celebrities and stars, and like people gonna run to him and go
Right.
crazy.
Right.
Nobody ever really ran to Jordan because
you can't believe it's
you
him.
can't believe it. Like, it's just like he's walking, like, oh, you tap somebody, you look, you froze, and then you look up, he's gone.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it was. It never was like a, oh, and they rush and go
Right.
crazy because you just couldn't believe it.
Wow.
You know, and that's just.
And he played at 40. He played all 82.
82 games, second year, yeah.
It seemed to me back then. I mean, he came in that era. Well, it was important to play 82 games.
A badge of honor.
I don't think it's important now.
No,
it's not important now.
It's a badge of honor, especially back then. But if you look at a lot of the medical the science, it makes sense. It's like to play 82 games. But see, back then we played 82 games, and then you had a 2-hour practice the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
now guys play.
And a lot of guys, they were taking commercial flights before this thing got high tech,
Exactly.
and they took charter.
Yeah.
Them guys were flying commercial.
Yeah, going to the airport.
Yeah, getting in line with it.
Yeah, sleeping in the airport,
Yes.
leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning to catch flights to go to another city. So it was a badge of honor to play 82 games back then. Like that's what you wanted to do.
Right.
And so, but with the medical and the science, how it is today, like it makes sense why a lot of us can't walk now.
Right.
Because, like how hard we went, all the practices, all the games.
Right.
So it is a little science to it, but like back then you wanted to play every game.
Right.
That was your mindset.
I've heard a lot of people say in today's game, the way it's being played and the way it's being officiated today, Jordan at his apex, how many points would he average
Today?
Yeah.
Oh man. 45?
You bull jobbing, T. Lou?
What you mean? You can't touch nobody. It's a foul. So, I mean, you got the best player in the world. You know what I'm saying? You got the best player in the world.
45, T. Lou?
What, he averaged 36 one year?
Yeah, 37.
37.
Yeah.
So yeah, add 8 to that. 'Cause every time you get touched, it's 2 free throws.
Right.
So I mean, like the zone stuff could be a difference, and
Right.
like back in the legal defense. But yeah, I mean, I don't see like it wouldn't be a year he wouldn't average 45.
Wow.
You couldn't touch nobody. I mean, you can't touch nobody
Right,
now.
right,
So
right.
like the physicality is pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Anything you go into the free throw line and just how smart he was,
Right.
especially nowadays, like take advantage of these guys, just as far as just IQ alone.
Right. What's some of the best advice Jordan gave you?
So when I first came to Washington, so I was in the triangle for 2 years on the field. So when I came to Washington, I was like, man, I guess I got turned loose. Now I can just play my game. And so when I got there, like I was just playing with pace, pushing it, just not understanding really how to play the game,
Right.
but just playing the game. If
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so he just taught me like, different reads, how to run the pick and roll. If a guy's playing you like this, do this. It should be your counter. And he gave me a lot of confidence.
Right.
I think shooting the basketball because I can shoot, but when he kick it out to you, like Jordan passed you the ball, you're like, oh, like what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man, I don't care if you miss 5 in a row. If you open, you got to shoot it.
Right.
And gave me that confidence. Which the second year when I was there, I was like second in the league in 3-point shooting.
Wow.
But it all came from that first year.
Right.
And I don't think I had the confidence that I needed, like I said, to play with Jordan.
Right.
And he gave me that confidence. So going to that second year, I was like, man, I was pissed off because I didn't play the way I wanted to play.
Mhm.
I thought I was going to be the starter. Chris Whitney came in, did a hell of a job. He was a starter. He played well. And then Larry Hughes came in. And then I think that second year, I came in with a chip on my shoulder. When we got to training camp, like I'm coming in to be the starter.
Right.
And that happened for me. But it all came from that first year. Jordan gave me confidence to be the player I wanted to be.
Was he hard on players?
Yes.
Too hard?
No. I mean, if you do your job, you ain't got to be hard on me. Just do your job.
Right.
So like, if you come in every day and do your job,
Right.
I can't be hard on you.
Right.
But if you slacking, if you bullshitting, like, yeah, he wasn't taking that. He wasn't gonna tolerate that. And so,
So he was almost like he was a player coach.
yeah, on the floor.
Right.
Like if you slacking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
He's gonna call you out. He's gonna challenge you. If you can't handle the challenge, then you just can't play.
Right. Because he took a 17-year-old kid from Glenn Academy in Kwame Brown. And Kwame is a 6'11". He was, and everybody said, well, you took this guy, but I mean, by most draft boards, Kwame was the best player coming out that year.
A phenom.
Yes.
Kwame was
With 6'11", could run up and down the court. I mean, he had it all.
first step, can drive, can pass. Like I said, running the floor. He's athletic, can do everything. Can do everything. But when you put a young kid in that situation, I was 4 or 5 years older than Kwame.
Right.
You put me in that situation, I was already scared to play with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yes.
if you put a 17, 18-year-old kid with Michael Jordan, and then you're number 1 pick, so the expectations.
Expectations are through the roof.
Yeah, and so that's hard. That's hard for anybody. I've seen guys that are great players and guys that 10
All-stars and all NBA.
play with LeBron and get to Cleveland, couldn't make a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like scared to death. So you
Yes.
can imagine like an 18-year-old Kwame,
Yeah,
and
man.
Kwame was talented, he was skilled, and he had a great year. He played 12 years, 13 years.
Yes.
And he was a really good player, and so people look at what he should have done from an expectation of being number 1 pick, playing with Jordan, but Jordan put a lot of
Right. If he had, let's just say for the sake of argument, he's still the number 1 pick and he goes somewhere else. Does his career turn out different, you think?
I think so. Because now he's being featured. The mistakes he's made, the mistakes he made are not being magnified
Right,
now.
right.
You're not on TV because Jordan is there.
Right.
So you're probably going to a worse team. Jordan, when he came to Wizards, we was bad, but we had a TV time.
Right.
You know
You
what I'm saying?
still had Jordan, and then
Yeah.
with Jordan, there's expectations.
Exactly. And so if he went to another team, he'd have been, it'd have been a lot different. He would have been able to make those mistakes as an 18-year-old kid, and he'd be able to grow and learn, instead of
At his pace.
At his
Because
pace.
everything, when you play with a historically transcendent great player, everything gets sped up. Ain't no learning.
none.
You got, go. I never driven before.
Right.
What I love about this clip and what I love about it the most is the fact that it completely debunks the idea that LeBron James is the only 18-year-old guy that came into the league that had a lot of pressure or that he had the most pressure. One could argue that Kwame Brown had the most pressure in league history. Being drafted to Michael Jordan's team and instantly expected to perform and compete and contend for a title, probably. Or at least be good enough to have Michael Jordan's respect. That alone is a ton of pressure. The expectations on him as the number one pick, playing on a Michael Jordan-led team, so much pressure. The idea that if you play alongside LeBron James, there's just this enormous amount of pressure that, nobody else has ever had in the history of the NBA. That's just not true. Kwame Brown had plenty of pressure playing with Michael Jordan, played with Kobe. I mean, time and time again, he was given enormous challenges. And it's difficult. It's difficult to to be serviceable on teams like that. But he wasn't some bum like people try to say that he was. He had a 13-year career. But anyhow, I loved what Ty Lue obviously said about Michael Jordan being able to average 40. We're talking about a league that just doesn't defend. We just started seeing glimpses of defense in this season. We just saw the mid-range come back. I mean, there's just so many aspects of the game that are just not accounted for, that, you had players that were well-rounded players, that played offense and defense. It's a shame that we even have to mention that. It's a treat to see guys defend and give max effort on the court. Guys don't play as hard as they used to. Michael Jordan came out every night and put on a show. Not only did he put on a show, he wanted to compete. So when you have a guy that wants to compete and wants to play his hardest, play his best, show up to every game, how could he not average 45? He played all 82 games, majority of his career. So if he can do that in a very physical league, and if he loved to get up every day and play basketball every single day, whenever he could, had a love of the game clause in his contract so that he can play wherever and whenever he wanted, why wouldn't he be able to average 45 or even 55 points in today's league? It's unrealistic for somebody to add an extra 8 points, but nobody flinches. Nobody flinches when LeBron James sits there and says that Giannis could average 250 points or something crazy like that. Nobody flinches when people say the most ridiculous things. When you want to put yourself in a time machine, right, and say that you would have averaged more in a more physical league, when you can't average more now in a lesser league. So yeah, I think that giving Michael Jordan 8 points up from his highest average of 37, I'm fine with that. I like it. If Ty Lue likes it, I love it. And I have to say, I think he's on target, because I don't think it's not a disrespect to today's era. It's just saying the truth. And the truth is that they don't play defense today. And if Michael Jordan could average 37 in a league where they were literally ripping him from the air and dragging him down to the floor, trying to injure him mid-air, if he could average 37 in that league, why can't he average 45 in today's league? An additional 8 points. I think that's an easy one. When you get into 50, 55, and 60 points, you're pushing it, but I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility for Michael Jordan. I really don't. So, yeah, I think Michael Jordan would score 45 in today's soft NBA, but what do you guys think? I'd love to hear from you. Certainly call in, share your thoughts on the Club Shay Shay interview. I mean, do you think that Kobe and Shaq would have won 8 titles together. Do you think that Ty Lue's contract request to the Lakers was realistic? Do you think that he was right to go about it the way he did? And, you know, would Michael Jordan actually average 45 in today's soft-ass NBA? Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. In the meantime, while we're waiting for a phone call, I will certainly read some comments from you guys. Yes, let's be for real, James. Shay Sharp does have extremely poor judgment. I believe Ticket TV says that Shay Sharp is actually not so sharp, and I would agree. I mean, you see him sitting on on camera with Ty Lue, and he's in his damier print Louis Vuitton, trying to show us that he still has some money left after that lawsuit. After that embarrassing lawsuit, and he's lost loads of sponsors, fired from ESPN. Shannon Sharp is a disgraced sports analyst, if you ask me. And he's been fired from every place that he's worked. I think he's been fired from Fox twice, fired from ESPN. I mean, it just, what I'll say is every dog has their day. Right. And I just think that when you do dirt, you get dirt. Everything comes out in the wash. That's something that my mom loves to say. And I think it's true. Eventually, things and people get exposed. Having LeBron on your team means you get to hear him cry all the time and make excuses for not winning. Brother Juma, salute to you. LeBron would have folded like a spring wedding chair if he had to play next to Jordan. I mean, imagine if LeBron James got drafted. Imagine MJ stayed on the Wizards maybe a season or two longer, and all of a sudden LeBron is drafted to the Wizards. He would have looked worse than Kwame Brown. He can't play. He can't play in an offense. You think that Michael Jordan would just allow LeBron James to run the ball down the court and bum rush the lane and pass to him at the last second on the clock? Do you think that Michael Jordan's going to allow that? Please. Kobe played for the fans. He absolutely played for the fans. And, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Guys, do me a favor as you continue to load into the room, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Share with your family and friends. Share it on social media networks and help me grow the community. It doesn't look like anybody wants to call in on this topic. Let's see, any more notable comments here? You guys are hilarious. Honestly, the engagement in the chat is just unmatched. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, William Wright. I mean, Shannon Sharp is just complete embarrassment to himself. I don't know how Ocho Cinco and other guys sit alongside him. I don't even know how he still gets these big names on his podcast. It's awful. Someone in the chat said earlier that Shannon's set looks like a dentist's office. Damn, Shannon, you got tricked. I mean, honestly, Shannon just looks crazy as hell. Sitting there in that, logo-driven outfit in shorts. It's so funny because you guys know how much I love watching The Sopranos. James Gandolfini in that series is just amazing. But seeing Shannon Sharp sitting there in that shorts outfit on set across from, championship winning head coach Ty Lue, and I'm watching him in shorts. It just reminds me of that episode of The Sopranos where I think it was Carmine Lupertazzi. He tells Tony that, a real Don never wears shorts. Dons don't wear shorts. And it just looked weird. It just looked inappropriate. He's sitting there in shorts across from Ty Lue, just in an intimate setting. I don't know. I can't stand Shannon Sharp. And yeah, I mean, his legs were oiled up like a woman. It's just, yeah. Anyhow, I guess we're not going to take any phone calls on this topic. I do want to thank you guys for still being here. We'll move right along to the next topic, and that is the Michael Jordan topic. I mean, we talked about him averaging 45 points in today's league. And, you know, we oftentimes talk about Michael Jordan being the GOAT. Right? That's what we talk about. We talk about him being the GOAT. And, you know, the LeBron James La Media always tries to tear Michael Jordan down. So if they can't make sure that LeBron James is called the GOAT, they have to win in something, right? So it has to be that, oh, you know, Michael Jordan was the greatest player ever, but he's the worst owner ever. And LeBron James is already a better GM than Michael Jordan was. And he's already able to make better decisions from a player movement perspective than Michael Jordan ever could. And he's a great GM and he's going to be a great owner, right? That's the narrative that La Media folks want to push, right? That's what they always do. And somehow LeBron James has to be eclipsing Michael Jordan some way, somehow. And I thought that it was really interesting that Jay Will came out and he had this cute reel about how Michael Jordan is actually a better owner than we all think that he is. And that, you know, maybe Charlotte Hornets didn't have the playoff success and actual basketball success that we would have liked to see. But Michael Jordan was not just a successful owner, but he ran a profitable business. And I want to play this clip for you guys because I thought it was really, really interesting. Some of the points that he made, some of the facts that he dropped. And I mean, it begs the question, should Michael Jordan actually have more respect as an NBA owner? And I want us to watch this. I want us to take a look and think about some of the facts that Jay Will is dropping. And let's reassess this. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I never considered Michael Jordan's performance as an owner. I want to be real clear about that. I never cared about the Charlotte Hornets performance. One, I'm a Knicks fan, so I was never looking for them to win. They're a small market, so most NBA fans don't look for small market teams with no transcendent superstar to actually win a title. And then most NBA fans understand what it takes to get a transcendent superstar to a small market team. You know, it requires you being dead last. It requires you getting the number one pick, right? Which isn't just a foregone conclusion that you will get because you're a horrible team. And then, you know, it also requires, I guess, that market having, you know, some pizzazz where, you know, superstars either want to go there or the league wants to rally behind that market and that team to get some superstars there, right? But anyhow, Jay Will gets into, you know, whether Michael Jordan was actually a bad owner or not. He does not think that. So he's dropping some facts on us, some things that maybe some folks haven't considered. And I want to play that for you guys. And, you know, we'll go from there. We'll react together. But think about this. Should Michael Jordan have more respect as an NBA owner? Yes or no?
My GOAT was a horrible owner, that he couldn't build a winner, that the Hornets never made a deep playoff run, that Charlotte was a failure. They didn't know shit about business. Let's actually dig into the numbers. In 2010, he buys the Bobcats for $275 million. They're bleeding $30 million a year. Small market, trash attendance, no brand equity, no playoff pedigree. But Jordan wasn't buying rings. He was buying position. He turned a 25 to 30 million personal investment into a $3 billion sale. That's a 10x return, over $2 billion in realized profit. He just ran laps around most PE firms. And what most people don't get, most NBA teams aren't in the green. At least 15 to 18 franchises operate at losses every year. Why, Jay? Well, why does this happen? Because when you stack superstars, you don't just pay salaries. You trigger luxury tax. You fund charter upgrades, increase security, private chefs, 24/7 medical staff, entourage travel, housing stipends. All that comes with something we call capital calls. And every round of the playoffs you don't win, that's red ink with no offset. So while you're laughing at Charlotte missing the playoffs, Jordan was the only one in the room not wiring in more capital. He never chased stars. He never cracked the luxury tax, not even once. He kept costs lean. He ran EBITDA positive. And by 2022, Charlotte pulled $94 million in operating profit. That's more margin than the Lakers and Nets posted combined. You still call that mediocrity? The market calls it mastery. He didn't just flip the team, he revived it, rebranded to the Hornets, triple merch sales, filled the lower bowl for a full season, landed the All-Star game, secured a $245 million arena reno with zero dilution, extended the lease to 2045. He took a distressed asset and made it a civic trust. And when it was time, he brought in partners with roots. He flew to Nashville personally to ask Eric Church to join, kept a minority stake, chose owners who respected the soil, not just the spreadsheet. You see, Jordan didn't just walk away. He orchestrated succession, like this show you watch on TV. You think ownership is about wins? No. Ownership is about liquidity events. It's about buying at a discount, optimizing cash flow, and exiting when the cap table is at peak heat. That's what Jordan did. The Hornets, yeah, they didn't make history on the court. Jordan just made it off of it. Because while other owners were chasing banners, he was too busy compounding equity in silence. Bah.
I'll be honest with you. I don't care too much for Jay Will. I'll be very, very honest with you. I don't like his voice. He just irritates me. When he is like, I think that he whines a lot on TV sometimes. He does make a lot of good points, but I don't love him. But he cooked on this ownership topic, because what is a good owner to you? I think for me, a good owner, a good organization. So there's a difference to me from a good organization and a good owner. So I think that Michael Jordan was a fantastic owner. Okay. I think that what he was able to do, how he was able to balance a checkbook, make smart financial decisions, not just for himself, but for the team, to make them a healthy financial team. Because when you're running a small market team, I think it is really important to have some profits and to have some margins that you can sort of play around with, whether it be for the future, whether it be to just grow the business, right? I think it really is important to manage the financials very well. And so, Charles Barkley sort of infamously criticized Michael Jordan as an owner very early on in his ownership of the Hornets. And I mean, they literally stopped being friends over it. And I'm not mad at Michael Jordan for making that decision. That was one of his best friends, and like, he should know firsthand what he was going through. And I think for Michael Jordan, it felt a little bit like hate, like what kids today would call hate. Back then, Charles Barkley commenting on his abilities as an owner, I think it really hurt him personally, because he's doing something that had never been done. A player, becoming a majority owner of a team, and just, there's a lot of hurdles, right? There's a lot of different things. I mean, Michael Jordan never had a real job before, but he was a majority owner of a team. So I think that it was in poor taste for Charles Barkley to be commenting on that. I think there's a ton of other things that he could have covered, but he had to speak out on that for a little bit of clout, or to have a hot take. And it just wasn't, that wasn't going to fly with Michael Jordan. And, I agree with him, sort of cutting him loose as a friend. A friend doesn't need to get clout off of you, right? A friend doesn't need to have a hot take at your expense. And so, anyhow, I really appreciated Jay Will listing out the facts. Hey, Michael Jordan was one of the only profitable teams out of 28. Most of these NBA teams are operating in the red. Michael Jordan didn't do that, and in fact, he, turned, an investment that was just a fraction of the cost of what he paid, what he wound up selling the team for. So Michael Jordan was, in fact, a successful owner based upon those things, right? But is the organization successful, right? The organization is not successful as far as, making deep playoff runs, but they are fun to watch. They are entertaining. They're not the Wizards. That much I can tell you. To me, they're not the Wizards. They're not as boring as OKC. I mean, when you take a look, sometimes when you watch OKC play, they can be a little flat. They can be a little boring. You turn around, you watch a guy like LaMelo Ball having so much fun on the court, flashy, doing all these different kinds of things. I mean, the Hornets to me have been fun to watch. I don't think that the organization is a failure. They have a good coach. To me, they have some really good bones. I kind of view them like a scrappy, sort of like the Pistons in a way. They're young, they're fun, and I think that there's narratives out there, and I think that anytime that, a Black person is doing something, and guys, yes, one of 4-1 you, I'm going to talk about race a little bit, and I'm only talking about it because I think that that there's an element of it. So I think sometimes when Black people step out of the entertainment role and go into a business role, there's a lot more criticism, and they're viewed as not being able to do it. Just like, there's not a lot of Black coaches in the league because there's an idea or, a stigma that, okay, well, Black people can be the athlete, they can be the worker, they can be the singer, they can be the writer, they can be perhaps they're the entertainment, we're, in many cases, Black folks are viewed as, the monkeys in a circus. That's why it's so offensive when we see campaign ads, fashion ads of Black people wearing monkeys and things of that nature, because it's super offensive. And again, we're not the monkeys in a circus. We do have the ability to do more than just entertain, and we can be available for more than just your entertainment pleasures. We can run businesses, we can coach NBA teams, we can do things that require brains and not just brawn. So anyway, salute to Michael Jordan and his ownership. Salute to Jay Will for creating that video and sort of, providing a different perspective and thought process to how ownership is viewed, right? I think that is important to just have a different side of that. Whether you think that Michael Jordan was as successful as he should have been, I think is just up for debate. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Michael Jordan was a horrible owner, especially when you see those pure facts. So he was able to sell this franchise for over $3 billion and still remain part of it. So he's still part of the Hornets, DNA, fabric, and, and leadership. So, again, I do think Michael Jordan should have more respect as an NBA owner. I am curious to hear what you guys think about it. Certainly feel free to call in, talk to me nice. I'll read some comments about what you guys think about Michael Jordan as an owner. Succession was a good show. NX Sunset, Succession was definitely a good show. I really enjoyed it. I think it was based on the Murdochs. And I loved the fact that there really was, like, none of those kids were deserving of succeeding their father. That was the interesting thing. And so it's funny that Jay Will mentioned Succession, because when you think about Michael Jordan and, he passed the league down to Kobe Bryant. He did. He passed the league down. And I think that Kobe Bryant was supportive of LeBron James and, everything that he was doing with the Lakers. But I don't know that we ever put the league in really good hands after Kobe Bryant left. And so, I don't think that, I'm just not sure that these players today are entitled, or, I don't think that they deserve to succeed Michael Jordan. I don't think that they deserve to be catapulted or in a GOAT debate or GOAT discussion. Not at all. So, yeah. Really interesting stuff there with Michael Jordan as an owner. I don't think that he was, this horrible owner. I really don't. But when we talk about Michael Jordan, and earlier in the episode, I talked about Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr in the face. And, we hear about these kinds of stories oftentimes. It's never something that's public consumption so much so where, we're seeing it on camera when we saw Draymond Green punch Jordan Poole in the face. A lot of these things are kept private. It's revealed much later as an, sort of a story to look back on. And, recently we saw Giannis Antetokounmpo slap the absolute dog shit out of his teammate in Greece. And I have to cover this, guys, because, and I know this happened like a week or two ago. Like I said, I've been out sick, and I really want to talk about this because first of all, I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Okay. Giannis just slaps his teammate, and, I want to go through this Bleacher Report. I want to go over this Bleacher Report article with you guys because it was just, so many people on X were reposting this slap or, across the world. And so many people were reacting to this, and it was just hilarious. I mean, current NBA players, former NBA players reacted to this, and Kendrick Perkins had a fiery reaction to this. I think that it brought up some bad memories for him, and this sort of sparked a lot of conversation about this level of violence in the NBA and how it's used to motivate your teammates and or get them in line or just keep them in check. And, the idea that it might have happened back in the day, but doesn't happen today, I think is false. I think that this level of keeping teammates in check has been something that's always gone on, no matter what we think about modern day times. I think that it might be going on a little bit less now because players, they don't command respect from their teammates. They don't command that their teammates follow a standard. They're just all kind of doing whatever it is they do. They don't have a lot of respect for the game, and they don't demand it as captains of their teams either. So anyway, I want to address this Bleacher Report article that gets into this viral video of Giannis slapping his teammate. Like, I have to share this with you guys. It is just absolutely hilarious. If you guys have not seen it already, I just want to make sure you guys can see this on the screen. You can. Fantastic. I'm going to blow it up for us a little bit more. But yes, viral video of Giannis slapping Greece player during huddle has fans confused. Okay, and this happened almost 2 weeks ago, guys. So basketball fans had some questions after a video surfaced of Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo swiping a hand at one of his Greece teammates during a huddle. The players were gathered at the center of the floor after a 69-61 win over Montenegro on Thursday when Antetokounmpo slapped Giannis Laurentskis in the back of the head. And so, guys, I have to play this for you. It is just hilarious. Sheesh. That slap was wild. I mean, the way he launched his arm back, cocked his arm back, and just slapped him like that. And I mean, people just tweeted this and tweeted this and tweeted this over and over and over again. Evan Fournier, he goes, if you don't listen to everything I say next season, this is what's going to happen. Woo, that slap. And they were reporting that as like a friendly ha 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 slap. There's nothing friendly about that slap. I wonder what the teammates said at that huddle. Like, I just can't even imagine what he said to get his shit slapped like that. Like, he just got completely rocked. When you look at this a little bit closer, sheesh. Why did Giannis Antetokounmpo slap Laurentskis like that? What that man do to you, Giannis? Seriously. I just can't stop playing these guys. Ooh. Slow motion. Sheesh. And he just gets right back to talking about whatever he was talking about. Wow. He just slapped the absolute dog shit out of him. Goes back to talking. Slow motion. Whew. That's just not Like, wow. I can't ever tell if he's angry or playing around. That didn't look like a playing around slap. And I just wonder, I just can't help but wonder, what did this man say? I've been trying to figure this out all day, bro. Giannis, who was in street clothes, obviously didn't suit up for the exhibition as Greece goes through its preparations for the men's Eurobasket. He intends to compete in the tournament, and coach Vasilis Spanoulis said the 9-time All-Star would begin training fully this weekend. Antetokounmpo and Lawrence Atkins go back more than a decade with the national team. They represented Greece at the 2013 FIBA Europe Under-20 Championship, and they've participated in multiple senior tournaments together since then. The pair helped their country advance to the knockout phase of the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. Greece last medaled in the Eurobasket in 2009, earning bronze. The competition is too strong across the continent to where one star can single-handedly lift his team to the podium. Still, the Greeks will be disappointed if they ultimately have nothing to show from a period when they had a talent as transcendent as Antetokounmpo on the roster. Greece will tip off Eurobasket on August 28th against Italy. One more time for the road, guys. Woo! Again in slow motion. Yikes. Sheesh. Giannis just, man, oh man. Yikes. That slap, it gave me flashbacks. It made me think about times in the past where players kept their teammates in line through physical violence, through a little tarantella on your teammates. Nothing wrong with it, right? Kendrick Perkins, he snapped on this topic. I want to play this for you guys because he had quite a bit to say. He was not in support of Giannis slapping his teammate at all. He's seen a lot in the league. He talks about a story that, didn't make him very happy. He felt like, okay, these incidents happen and there's a point where it becomes bullying. And so, he was not pleased with Giannis raising his hand to his teammate at all. He doesn't think that that's the way. And I want you guys to hear what he had to say. Again, this situation, did Giannis go too far to perhaps motivate his teammate? I don't know. Was that a motivational slap? We don't know what the reason for the slap was, but did he go too far? Kendrick Perkins sounds off on this. I want you guys to hear this, and we'll react together.
What's the most physical motivation you've seen in a huddle or locker room from your days?
Wow. I see a couple dudes right for the game, throw some punches, and then be like, "Are we done?" I'm like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "All right, let's go win the game. Go win the game." It was over. They were talking
Don't you
about
guys
each
think
other.
it would be? Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I'll be quick. They
No, you're
were
good.
talking about each other, and this dude goes, "Man, let's not hide who you are. You ain't nothing but the first and the third." And they're like, "Huh?" He goes, "Man, you get your points in the first and the third, then you scared like a bitch in the fourth quarter. That's why I'm here. You had your chance. I'm here for this." And the dude got up. He goes, "What, man, what are we gonna do? Fight right now?" And the dude went kind of faint at him. And the dude swung and said, "Man, I will," not like that, but like whatever. And they literally were kind of going at it. Everyone's like, "Are y'all being serious?" They got their jerseys on. And the dude was like, "Are you done?" The one that was like, you're first and the third. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done." He's all right, come on, let's go win. And literally the whole team was like, "Wait a second." And in the game, first quarter, cooked. Second quarter, kind of chilled. Third quarter, cooked. Fourth quarter, shrunk down. My guy said, "Man, give me that ball. Give me that ball." Took over.
Damn.
So it was kind of crazy. It was crazy. He kept trying to throw it to him, and he kept missing. He was like, "Man, give me the damn ball."
I have so many that I don't even listen. Through that window of 2007 to 2010, you have to realize it was so many fucking altercations, hands, furniture moving, Budweiser bottles getting bust on people's head, us having to hold Doc and Rondo back, like Ray and Rondo getting on the gloves because they didn't like each other, and we just had them box it out in the weight room, like literally box it out. Tony Allen and Big Baby, full out altercation fight on the plane. Eddie House and Big Baby tore up my hotel locker room. I mean, my hotel room in San Antonio while we was playing Blu-ray.
Oh
Paul
my God.
Paul and TA, after we hit one of the spots, they get into an altercation. Like, we fought like a motherfucker, but we dabbed it up afterwards. It was like, all right, we move on type shit. But it was like that. We had developed so much of a bond that it didn't even matter. Like, you had something to get off your chest, shit, it was what it was. Now, I will say this. The one that pissed me off the most, I hate when someone gets bullied, right? So we got Vaughn Wafer.
Oh, what a name.
Vaughn Wafer. We have Delonte West. Okay. Those two guys are fighting for the last spot on the roster, okay, in 2010. So what they would have to do is they would play 3-on-3s after training camp in preseason on the floor. D West on some, like, this had been building up. Like, he had already been, like, doing the workouts we watching because it's that intense. We know that these two guys are competing for the last spot. D West talking shit, it's elbows on the floor, like they getting into it. Vaughn, he talking and he competing, but he ain't on the level that D West on. D West on some, like, I'm about to die for this shit, or I'm gonna kill for this shit. Like, on this type of time, real talk. So Vaughn ended up winning the game on the floor, right, that day. Vaughn is sitting at his locker in the locker room. He's iced up. Taiwan, chilling. D West come in the locker room like, motherfucker, what you said out there on the floor? Stands over him. Vaughn Wafer is leaking, right? This is one of the few times that I get pissed off at Shaq, right? Because this is bullying at this point. You know when somebody want to fight and you know when somebody don't want to fight. Vaughn had no intentions on fighting or doing none of that. That man just wanted to compete, go home, let the chips fall where they may. Shaq in there, oh shit, let's take it in the bathroom, take it in the shower. He got to get his lick back. I'm like, man, sit your big ass down, man, instigating that shit, because I done got pissed off because, one, the man got both feet in the mop bucket. You know what I'm saying? You know, I used to ice in the mop bucket, right? Both feet icing in the mop bucket. Neat, you know what I'm saying? Bags of ice on his knees. He chilling. He ain't on nothing. D West come up still off on the man. The man leaking, man. At this point, I feel bad. It's one thing for a motherfucker to get ready to go blows and you could tell both won't smoke. He wanted no action. So it was just bullying at that point. You know what I'm saying? And it was a real thing. And I'm just heated. And it's just like, oh, take it in the shower. I'm like, nah, man, ain't no take it in the shower, man. Break that shit up, man. That man don't want to fucking fight. So that was one of them.
I thought that story, and again, like, you know, seeing Giannis slap his teammate like that, it's sparking a lot of different conversation, a lot of different stories from the past. And, you know, I think that these stories do need to come out more because, again, like what Giannis did, okay, was he so wrong? This is something that goes on rampantly. You don't see that on court in, you know, the States. You don't see that basically in the NBA on court, live and direct. You might see it if a video is leaked, like what happened with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, right? And I mean, earlier in the season, Draymond Green was just basically being taken to task over his aggression, his behavior and conduct on the court, his dirty play. He's been called out. And I think the main reason why he's been called out is because he's not just engaging in physical play. He can't play. And so he's choking people, stomping on them, trying to injure people, trying to get an unfair advantage in the game. He's not playing the game in a way where he wants the real smoke and competition because he can't hack it. He's trying to harm other people. And it's really sad sometimes what he does. And, you know, it was funny because Kevin Durant said, you know, I hope he gets the help he needs. And I mean, so do I. I hope that he's just out of the league at some point. It's like, was he going to retire when LeBron retires? That's what it looks like. But Draymond Green, I want to flash back to an interview that he did with Ryan Clark. You know, and he's talking about his aggression. And, you know, Ryan Clark is, I think, trying to help him out and give him some good publicity over this. And again, he's already got a deal he's already got a deal to, have a post NBA career in NBA commentary, right? And so I think that he has horrible behavior during the season and then is constantly trying to do damage control. And I think that Clutch Sports and Rich Paul help him with that. But here's this interview that he did with Ryan Clark on the Pivot, and we'll react together. But he basically is describing the history of his outbursts. So here we go.
You get to college, you get into it with Derek Nix. I think it is like early on. Then, you and Keith Appling have a little thing at practice too, but y'all found a way to move on. They understood we need Draymond Green. You understood you needed them. But then when the Jordan Poole situation happens, you're in a different world. And so now everything I've always been, everything I've always known is different today. What is it when you have that realization and now the world is sort of judging who you are at your core about something like that?
It took me, still at age 33, 34, 35, I still learn those lessons. Because to your point, I'm into it with Keith Appling and Derek Nix come out of nowhere. I could take a punch. I ain't even see it. And ears go crazy. Get him out. Get out of here. How dare you? You fucking soft as fuck. You come from the side. Put him out. And I'm in practice like, damn. They call me from the side, put him out. Yo, you're not putting him out of practice. Let me go in this locker room and get him. Yo, come back out here. We got to practice. And we move on. It just happened. We're not about to, what we doing? It's my teammate, fine. Yeah, you got me. We move on. And I've had a bunch of situations like that growing up. Sometimes I was the guy, sometimes I wasn't. Regardless, we move on. And so that's how I've always approached it. In college, freshman year, I'm talking to one of the OGs, go around suit time. I'm in my chair, sitting back like this, locker room. We've been going at it on the court, locker room. And he could feel it, like his locker right next to mine, he could feel it. I'm getting there. I'm like, all right, I'm about to get up, I'm about to get, bro. As I'm thinking that, as I try to get up, and I'm a freshman again, so this is a fifth-year senior. Good luck.
Right.
As I'm trying to get up, he caught me in that chair, had me pinned down. What you gonna do? And he on top of me. All right, we move on. Mm-hmm. So when that situation happened, I'm like, all right, cool, we move on. And then when we couldn't, I was like, huh? And for a while, it made me think man, this dude nothing like me. Because when those things happen, you just move on. But it taught me so much. Because it taught me, you're right, he may not be like you. He ain't from where you're from. The things you went through, the way you had to come up, he may not have came up like that. So for that 5 seconds, I forgot where I was at. Because I immediately went to what I know. But what you know don't really work here. Yeah. And everybody say, oh man, but you was 10 years in, you should know better. You're still learning, 9 years in. But it's them lessons like that that ultimately make me who I am to this day. Because, man, I fucked that up.
I think that Draymond Green is pathetic. Basically, he sounds like an abused child that grew up to be an abuser. That's what he sounds like. And because somebody punched him in the face in the locker room, he's going to rain those kinds of terror on his current teammates in the NBA. And for him to, it's just like he's trying to justify his behavior and his actions with, oh, well, I was punched in the face before. I just got over it. Oh, Jordan Poole's nothing like me because he didn't let it go. When Draymond Green was punched in the face, was it leaked to the media and gone viral for everybody to see? No. So maybe sometimes it's not just getting punched in the face, but it's how, it's the ramifications of it. And, there's just, Jordan Poole's never going to be able to get away from that punch that went viral. Never. And, for Draymond Green to keep talking about it and to keep talking about it. And then he gets upset when Jordan Poole is asked any question about this and when he just speaks on it. Jordan Poole's not going out doing media tours over this punch, but Draymond Green did. So, no, they can't get past it because you can't get past it. This is your behavior. This is who you are. We can't get past this because people know that this is what you do. Punching Jordan Poole in the face wasn't that wasn't the only thing you've done. And it's just time after time again that you have this really poor conduct. And so to see him sort of making excuses for it and to say that I'm still learning this lesson, you're not learning it. You're not learning a lesson over and over again. Nobody learns a lesson over and over again. It means that you didn't learn. You're being given this lesson and you're failing over and over again. You're failing in learning. You're failing to learn the lesson. That's why you keep getting the lesson. So I can't stand Draymond Green. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think that his antics should be given the attention that they do. I don't think that he should be able to go on the Pivot podcast and, basically justify punching his teammate in the face because, he was getting a contract, or punching his teammate in the face because he didn't like something that he said. So again, what we know is that violence in the NBA, it happens, and it happens more often than we think. It's not documented. It's not recorded like what we saw Giannis doing. I thought that there was a really interesting point. I was when this first went down, because I couldn't talk, I was listening to Ticket TV, and he was saying that this kind of thing goes on oftentimes overseas. He played overseas in the pros, and he was sharing that, hey, this is something that's very customary. When they put their hands on each other, like live in open court, it's not a foreign thing, pun intended, that this happens often. So it made me think about a story about Hakeem Olajuwon. And the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people say that foreign players are softer, that they're not really with the physicality that should exist in the NBA or did exist in the 90s. And so, that's why foreign players are doing better. But I'm not sure that it's so much so that they can't handle physicality. I mean, Giannis just slapped the dog shit out of his teammate. So, they obviously respect order and discipline, right? And so there was a story, Vernon Maxwell, he goes by Mad Max. I absolutely love Mad Max. I love seeing him on podcasts and doing different interviews. I think he's so hilarious. But, I think that there is something to be said of what Ticket said, that, this is it's customary that foreign players will raise their hand to their teammate. They have no problem with that level of discipline. That's just how it is. That's how it goes. That's they're fine with it, right? And I want you guys to hear Mad Max when he was on All the Smoke with with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and they asked him about it. They asked him, like, hey, is there any truth to Hakeem Olajuwon slapping the shit out of you? Did this happen? And so there's a story around it, and he talks about it, and I want us to listen and watch together.
Is there any truth to Hakeem slapping the shit out of you at halftime one time? What happened? He said there's a lot of truth to it.
Motherfucker, a lot of truth to that shit. That motherfucker like he scraped his hands on the ground and shit. Motherfucker, oh my goodness. That hit me so goddamn hard. Where's in Seattle? Goddamn, I'm having a bad first half. So I'm mad. When I get mad, I should spit. I'm walking, I'm spitting. And the niggas, Sam sitting up and Robert beside me. Man, it's gonna be all right, Max. Come on, man, you're gonna be okay. Man, fuck this shit. Man, these niggas ain't giving me the ball. These niggas won't pass the ball. Man, fuck this shit. So Dream behind me, and Dream like, Maxie, what the fuck is you doing? That shit's not professional. Don't do that shit. Stop that shit. I was like, Dream, man, fuck that shit. Man, I'm tired of you too. And why would I say that shit there? I shouldn't have said that, because he came in and put his goddamn hands up, big old hands on me.
In the locker room?
Oh man, he slapped the shit out of me when I sat.
Coming from the back?
Oh man, way from the back. He slapped the shit out of me so hard. I mean, I thought the motherfucker punched me. He slapped the shit out of me, man. Big ass hands. Shit, that man slapped the shit out of me, man. Then it killed me.
But hey, but knowing you had to do, what'd you do?
Well,
you tried to get yourself together. He's like, well, I'm glad you asked.
Well, I got, I went crazy in that motherfucker. Everybody was running and scrambling.
Yeah.
I tell you that. There's a lot of motherfuckers scrambling in that motherfucker when I got there doing what I was doing. But I went crazy in that song.
There's only one thing after a big nigga like that slept you.
You got.
I'm going to get the two.
Why you better know it?
I mean, I love that story. I just do. I mean, Mad Max, he was running amok, he was acting out, and Hakeem the Dream, he put that shake on him. He put those paws on him. He was just like, you must not get out of line. Boop. I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon, he just seemed like such a stand-up person, stand-up player. And again, when they played, that was a totally different time. When you had grown men, those locker rooms were built for adult men, not the kids you see running around playing today's game. I can't see like Tyrese Halliburton in that locker room. I just don't see it. I don't see Bronny James sitting in that locker room. But yeah, Mad Max is hilarious, and he's just like, man, Dream slapped the shit out of me. There's a lot of truth to it. Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes there's a moment where maybe slapping someone is the only way to get their attention, perhaps in the NBA. I guess if someone's just out of control, but I do think I come from a place of I think people should keep their hands to themselves. I think leadership is more about leading by example rather than needing to physically intimidate your teammates to keep them in line. Now, if they step out of line and that needs to be a last resort, where if they are intimidating other people or using physical intimidation to sort of impose some sort of will or bully another teammate, then I think it is appropriate for the captain to use that level of force to motivate or to to discipline even. But I think that Steph Curry needs to be called out as a leader. I think his leadership in allowing someone who belongs at the end of the bench like Draymond Green to discipline players and to hit them for you. I don't think that that's really true Warriors culture. In all honesty, I don't think that that is what their championship teams were built upon. Draymond Green beating up teammates. I don't believe that. I think that he ruined their locker room, ruined their team with that Jordan Poole punch, and their team has never been the same since. And I don't see them winning another title together. Especially not if LeBron James joins. They're just going to be filled with turnovers and probably not even making it to the playoffs. But Draymond Green, I think, is an absolute disgrace. And I think that Steph Curry's leadership is in question when you have somebody like Draymond Green who delivers pretty much nothing offensively or defensively. He's been getting cooked on defense multiple times and just, not delivering. So he didn't step up when Steph was out, out with injury in the playoffs. Why couldn't they eliminate the Timberwolves? They had Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green is he's apparently somebody who changed the game of basketball, right? But anyway, again, is using physical violence appropriate to motivate your teammates? Was Giannis out of line for slapping the dog shit out of his teammate? Because that slap was something else. I don't know why Giannis slapped his teammate. So I just want to go ahead and answer and say, hey, I don't know what the reason for it was. They've been teammates for a long time. I don't think that it's right to raise your hand to your teammate. That's what I'm going to say. I'm also going to say that sometimes it's appropriate. And I don't know what was going on at that huddle that warranted Giannis raising his hand to his teammate in that fashion. Maybe you guys can weigh in. Maybe this was, you know, maybe the reason for it was brought up somewhere else. But to me, the story has pretty much disappeared. It pretty much, you know, has just been, you know, a part of an old news cycle. It said that, you know, that was a friendly slap. That was how it was reported. And I don't think there's anything friendly about that slap. But again, when you look at guys like Draymond Green doing this, you're not Giannis. You're not the star of the team. You're not even like a Charles Oakley, in my opinion. You're not a real enforcer on the team that is also leading by example. Draymond Green, he quits a lot of time right on the floor. He has a tantrum and quits on his team. You think I want to take any direction from you? You're not the guy I want to follow. You're not the leader of me. Draymond Green's out here punching people in the face like he's Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Like, you're not any of that. You're not a real enforcer. You're not Udonis Haslem. You're not mitigating problems for the team. You're creating them. That's the problem. That's the problem with Draymond Green and his behavior. So I don't agree with anything that he does as far as physically motivating his team. Yeah. So I hope you guys love the Mad Max clip as much as I did. He is just so funny to me, and I just love that story about Hakeem. Could you imagine somebody as distinguished as Hakeem trying to get, this live wire like Mad Max to calm down, and he just won't do it. And then he turns around and, tries to flex on him with the, oh, F you too, Dream, I'm tired of you too. And then just gets hit with that big, could you imagine Hakeem Olajuwon's hands, 7 foot tall guy, all that weight just coming down on you, and you're easily like 5-6 inches, like the velocity, the acceleration of that hand to that face or to the back of your head, you might feel deaf, like you can't hear after that. And I loved at the end of the video when he's like, yeah, everybody was scrambling. Everybody was scrambling when I got done over there. It was, I just think he's really, really funny. And that story was hilarious. But I don't find it funny what Draymond Green is doing at all. So yeah, when we think about today's league and we think about guys like Draymond Green, Steph Curry, even LeBron still hanging on, and he'll never leave. He'll just never, ever leave. I can't help but wonder when we're going to button up the face of the league topic. When is this going to button up? So I want to talk about the face of the league. Before we do, I want to open the phone lines up and see if you guys had any comments for me that you wanted to get off your chest surrounding the Greek Freak situation and him slapping the shit out of his teammates. Did you guys want to comment on that and how, it compares to what we've seen in the league in the past? I mean, for me, when I saw that slap, I was like, oh, it seems like old times. It felt like nostalgic almost to me to see that. For some reason it didn't quite hit the way I saw Draymond Green punch Jordan Poole, and maybe it hit different because Giannis is an actual star, an actual captain on his NBA team and his Greek team. I mean, watching Draymond Green, it looked like he did this out of some sort of unnecessary ego trip that he was having with Jordan Poole out of jealousy over his contract and jealousy out of his popularity. And then Giannis seemed to be putting a teammate in check, which is a different, just watching those two things are different. So for me, seems like old times when I watch Giannis do this. But what do you guys think? Call in and talk to me nice. I'll read some comments in the meantime. It looks like we got some super chats that came through. Raphael, I think it's Raphael Dag 178, 168. I can say you could be right for your opinion. I'll say this: the people should elevate and promote. We don't. I respect MJ as an owner. The team didn't win much, but the value of the team went up. Great comment. Raphael. And thank you so much. And salute to you for the $10.10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I think that it's the responsibility of all of us in the media, content creators, to elevate and promote the game, for sure. And again, Hornets didn't win much, but I mean, the team valuation went up. He did his job as an owner, for sure. He was a successful owner. He got in at a low cost and got out, at much more than what he paid. And that sounds like a success financially, right? Thank you again, Raphael, for the $10.10 super chat. Do you think when LeBron and his generation of players retire, the mindset of the younger players will shift to a more hardworking, earning mentality? I think I think it's a loaded question. And the reason is because I think that the mentality has already shifted to wanting to attend more games, play more games, load manage much less. I think that shift has already started. And that was because of I believe it was the rule that was put in the new CBA for the requirement of playing 65 games to win awards. So players, although they don't enjoy basketball anymore and playing all 82 games, they don't think it's important to actually earn their paychecks or important to show up for NBA fans, right? They do care about their legacy. So whereas, yes, it's all about the money, a lot of these players still care about how they're viewed, how they stack up in NBA history. They care about social media, the narratives, and being on a particular list. So they care about reaching certain stats and accomplishments, being on all NBA teams. These things affect your paycheck. So all-star selections, all NBA teams, these things typically impact your ability to earn even more money. And so without those things and without the ability to do that, I think that it's sort of, there's like a self-correction. So, okay, in order for me to have my stats and for my legacy to be respected, I've got to at least show up for 65 games. So I think that got them a little bit more hardworking. LeBron and his generation of players, when they retire, I do think that we're going to hear less about money than we did before because of the astronomical contracts that players are getting. So I think that it becomes a little bit tacky to talk about the money constantly in the business end of the sport. Even Kevin Durant, he showed his true colors when he said on the Mind the Game or the Lamine Games podcast that, the goal is to play for 20 years. The goal should be really for you to do the job that you love doing for as long as you can at, the best of your abilities, right? Like for me, if I'm somebody like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, that I've made all this money, it becomes no longer so much important that I make money. It becomes about, okay, well, is this good for my career? And so for LeBron James to be even thinking about going to another team, let's say, it's just like, is that what's good for my legacy? Like, he's not even thinking about that anymore. It's just like, okay, well, if I can somehow get another title so I can spin this to my LeBarbs and my, the cult of, blind witnesses, then sure, let's go ahead and do that, because no matter what, LeBron James is always winning, even in the losing, right? So, we didn't think about him getting knocked out in the first round. We thought about him not attending the Met Gala. We thought about his invitation to the Met Gala. So, great question. I think that players today are just a lot more entitled. I don't know that the mentality is going to change all that much, but thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice. Oops, looks like I wasn't connected. Hello?
Peace.
Hey, brother Juma. Talk to me nice.
How are you, Dom?
I'm
Good morning.
fantastic. I feel so much better. I'm doing better. It's a beautiful Friday, gorgeous weather out there. So,
Glad to hear
how
it.
are you doing? What do you think about the
I'm
show
well,
today?
blessed, black, and living in abundance. It could be better, but could be a lot worse.
I love it.
You
I
know,
love it.
my new saying is some people my age are wearing diapers, and so I'm doing all right.
you know what? We can't complain, right? When we wake up and our two eyes open, can't
That's
complain.
it.
So talk
Can't
to me
complain.
nice. What do you think about this? About Giannis hitting his teammate like that? Do you think that that's an appropriate way to motivate your teammates?
I mean, it just depends on your teammate, right? Well, first, I think it's context and it's culture, you know. So one, yeah, you know, you how do they say, what's it? It ain't where it's from, it's where you're at, you know, type of thing. So, you know, the Rakim quote. So, of course, you shouldn't put. Bottom line, you shouldn't put hands on nobody. You learn that in school as a little kid, right? You know, bubble space, right? You don't touch nobody unless you want to get touched. And I'm gonna spit on Draymond and that in a minute. But I do, based on I think the context with Giannis is one, he was in the position of we don't know what was being said, right? It wasn't like he's just smacking people around. We have to give people the benefit of the doubt based on their past, right? That's how you can prejudge people based on their past. And I think he basically, homeboy might have been running his mouth while he was trying to give instructions, and he had to shut him up. You know, maybe something's happened 3 or 4 times in the past. We can't really say, but that's not in Giannis's character to do that. You know, even when that guy's father from the Indiana Pacers was acting a fool and yelling and screaming and cussing at him and stuff, he kept his cool. He was a professional. You know, he did the same thing during the interview. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt that, you know, that's what he needed. You know, as leaders, you have to do that. You have different people get motivated different ways. Sometimes you can just talk to people nice. Some people you need to get face and yell at them. Some, you know, there's different. As a leader yourself in management, you know, everyone's different, and you have to motivate people differently. So I definitely think that was a part of it, you know, that he doesn't have that type of history of putting paws on people that we've seen, you know, and he seems to be a pretty mellow, you know, professional guy, you know, and he seems to be extremely respectful of his teammates in the past. So since I've watched him play, so probably that guy needed to get that because he might have been just going off on the mouth for a minute. And, you know, like I think I saw Sports T, shout out to her. I think she said somewhere he might have been the example because maybe, you know, because he's running his mouth. If you let him, you know, that's probably what happened with Draymond, right? That's exactly what happened with Draymond. He started doing a little too much here and there, and then instead of someone checking him at the beginning and cutting it off from stopping it from the beginning, he saw that he could continue, and so he kept doing more and more, kept pushing the line, stepping over the line, to where he's just an absolute ass now, just does whatever he wants. So in terms of Draymond, Giannis, that's definitely I believe what that is, and I'm just side note, I can't, because people don't forget. Olajuwon didn't start playing basketball till late in his young career. He started off as a soccer player, and he was a goalie. He had them big ass hands. He was 7 and change. I mean, can you? I mean, the grip that man has on the basketball, his palms are strong. I can't imagine him. Also come from the continent of Africa, probably, you know, milking goats and whatnot. Him slapping the smack out of Max. That I'm surprised it didn't knock him out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly,
Well, some power pause.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, there are people that can go deaf from a smack like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. And so I, you know, I always laugh when I see this clip of Mad Max talking about this, you know, this slap from Hakeem Olajuwon. It's just absolutely hilarious. And, you know, just, you know, when you talk about it in the context back then, right, in the situation, you know, you just wonder, like, what causes the, you know, the moments where folks had to raise up on their teammates, you know, today. You know, in what moments are they using you know, physical violence to motivate?
Well, if I also comment, like I was saying, what I started with, it's also culture and context. Like, of course, it depends on where you're at, you know, what you're doing, what type of job you have, you know, what type of environment you're in. Of course, you just can't smack people around when you're, you know, in a corporate world. You know, you can't smack people around when you're on campus at school or something like that, or on most jobs. But there's a different type of atmosphere when you're, especially with professional athletes. These guys they have millions of dollars to try and get their contracts. They want to play. They're working on teamwork, camaraderie, chemistry, and then also just winning. You know, they want to be the best. I mean, LeBron can play it down and switch, and this modern day can switch it up. But it doesn't matter if he gets 25, 8, and 7. You know, that's what Shay is always spitting out. But the bottom line is, in the fourth quarter, if you can't produce, if you can't get them over the hump, if you can't win, then you're not a champion. You know what I mean? You're not the greatest. You know, and there's that pressure, right, of wanting to be the best, you know, and wanting to win. And then, you know, so I get that, you know, like, you know, you might have to, you know, I mean, I think it happens in all sports. You know, I played soccer, baseball, basketball, a little bit of football in high school, and it's always got intense. You know, not to the point. I mean, people, you know, we grab each other and threw, you know, by the jersey and stuff. Never really threw punches, but definitely it got extremely physical. You know, and in terms with Poole and Draymond, and I don't want to just go in on Draymond because I can do that for hours. But he basically he's a bully. He doesn't approach anybody who he knows is going to smack him back. You know, and what he did with Jordan Poole, I mean, Kerr, the whole. I'm a Bay Area guy. I'm from the Bay. I've been watching the Warriors. Good morning since since the 80s. You know, and to see how they just abandon players who Draymond attacks is gross, you know, because Kerr told him you need to stand up for yourself, stick up for yourself. So when he does it, you know, and I'm sure he's probably talking to something about, well, I got my, you know, $100 million contract, you know, you're still on the wire. We'll see where you go, you know, and Draymond can't handle that. He can dish it out, but he can't take it. So yeah, Poole pushed him. But Draymond, you don't come back and that was a sucker punch. He didn't think his hands were down. He's, you know, he got to about 3-4 feet. You know, a good maybe 20, 30 pounds. You know, his hands weren't up at all. That was a sucker punch. And that's what suckers do. They take sucker punches, you know, because his hands weren't up or nothing. He should at least push him back, you know, met him with the same amount of aggression. And then if it went further than that, so be it. But of course, Poole knows that we're professional athletes and we're grown ass adults. I'm not expecting this guy to punch me in the face. You know what I mean? Damn near break my jaw or nose. You know, so he should have been held accountable for that. And the fact that Kerr was the one that told Poole to step up and defend himself, they should have backed him up. They should have they should have fined Draymond. He should have got his ass kicked out the league. If not, you know, because it's happened over and over again, at least miss the season, you know, and then, you know, instead of Draymond going and whining and saying, well, I'm going to quit, you know, that was his manipulative move. Well, I'm going to quit. I don't know what to do. I'm going to quit. He should have quit. They should have said, okay, bye. You know, and they could even got that whack dude from the light skinned brother with the arm from New Jersey who fell apart in Philly, who can't shoot, who's afraid to shoot. I forget his name.
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. He would have came through because he at least plays defense. He didn't need to shoot for the Warriors. He could have just he was a great facilitator and played D. He was Draymond times 20. You know, and I don't got no super love for Ben Simmons, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, in terms of fits, he could have made that fit. And that's just like, you know, fantasy stuff. But the bottom line is that Draymond needs to be held accountable. Steph has never done it. Kerr's never did that. Bob Myers set them up with three amazing guys with Wiseman, Kuminga, and Poole to basically transition, and it was a perfect transition. They had a big man who handled down low, old school traditional big man, and they still had the sharpshooters with the Splash Brothers. But Draymond felt intimidated, felt that he wasn't going to be necessary. He saw the writing on the wall that he was being phased out, and instead of him just being professional and doing what he had to do for his team, he sabotaged his team, became a manipulator, and now they're at the bottom of the barrel. But he does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. That's for damn sure. And he needs to keep his damn hands to himself because, because that's just, you know, that's being an adult and being a professional. But bottom line, he knows. Draymond knows. He does not run up on somebody that's gonna give him that same energy. He does not want any of that. He's a straight up bully.
He is a bully. And I mean, when you take a look at this, you know, and how he punched Jordan Poole, it's just absolutely disgusting.
It was disgusting.
I mean, there was
sucker
just
punch.
nothing. He got sucker punched, but then he got, you know, the thing is that with everybody, folks like Draymond Green, there's always somebody that, you know, he's actually scared of, you know, and believe it or not, he's scared of Tristan Kardashian.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he got knocked out by Tristan Kardashian at a LeBron James party. He tried to dap it up with Tristan Thompson said, "Get out of here," and bitch slapped him. So, you know, like, And that's why he thinks it's okay to put his hands on people, because somebody bitch slapped him or punched him in
Yeah.
the face. And I mean, he pretty much told us that that's why. Hey, I put my hands on people because I've been punked and bitch slapped before. And it's no surprise. So,
None.
yeah, I'm with you, brother Juma. I think that Draymond Green's a disgrace, but thank you so much for calling in. Really
My pleasure.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate you. Let me just shout out all the mods. They doing big things. All the communication with the community. I see the community's growing. I saw several new mods and a lot of new people jumping in the chat. Y'all make sure you hit the likes and it's just the community is building. It's really. I'm on a lot of different podcasts with everything from like video games or comic books and movies and stuff. And there's really a lot of negative people that jump in the comments and stuff on all these different platforms, and the fact that our mods are keeping it locked in, and then also you have a respectful community, and that definitely comes from the leadership that you show and prove. We really do appreciate what you're doing. Please keep it up, sister.
Thank you so much. Like I said, guys, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really want to create a safe space for us to come in here and talk about sports, whether we agree or not. And I just really want to have fun. That's what it's about. It's not about insulting people, making people feel bad. We're allowed to have different opinions. All that is fine, and it's all welcome.
Exactly.
But we should be able to agree and disagree respectfully. So I just really appreciate you being here, Brother Juma, and spreading that positivity. Thank you so much. And thank you for your call.
All right. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Peace.
So, guys, we're going to get into the face of the league discussion again. And it is because, some recent comments came up about Anthony Edwards that I thought were really interesting. Gilbert Arenas, of course, he never misses a chance to run his mouth about something like this. And I think that he's running his mouth with experience. So Gilbert Arenas has been in the hot seat and has had, a variety of stories come out about his personal life that he's had to navigate through. And, I don't think that these things were easy for him, but I also don't think that he was ever considered the face of the league at any point in time, or someone who was going to be the face of the league. But, Gilbert Arenas, he chimes in on Anthony Edwards, and his trajectory and what he thinks his problem is or roadblock is to becoming face of the league. And granted, Anthony Edwards has come out and said he doesn't want that responsibility. He doesn't want to be the face of the league. But the problem with that is that you don't really get to choose that. The fans choose the face of the league. You're chosen for that role. And then the NBA decides to back you and push you, essentially. And I think that Anthony Edwards is being pushed regardless of what he actually wants. He has the charisma, he's got the smile, he's got the play on the court, he's got the bravado, and says a lot of the right things post-game interview. And sometimes he says the wrong thing, and he didn't do his homework about past generations and made some really silly comments about the only players being skilled were Mike and Kobe at one point. And he just obviously doesn't know, and really has made some ignorant comments and statements. But with all that being said, there is a debate about who the face of the league is going to be, and if it's Anthony Edwards, and if it's not, could he become the face of the league? I think he's just 22, 23 years old. So he's really young. He's got time to grow and develop even further in this league. I want to share with you guys an article. I found it on MSN, and basically Gilbert Arenas, he's married to Melly Monaco, beautiful couple they make, I think, and they have a podcast together, and it's called We Said What We Said. And they've been creating content together, and I think it's really cute. And let me see, so you guys can see that. Let me blow this up for you guys to be a little bigger. And I'll start from the top of the article. Gilbert Arenas gives Anthony Edwards $10 million advice amid baby mother troubles. And Anthony Edwards has everything he needs to become the next face of the NBA. However, his troubles with the mothers of his children have seen his name splash across new pages for all the wrong reasons. The Minnesota Timberwolves superstar has been warned multiple times that his legal troubles with his baby mothers are the reason the NBA is holding itself back when trying to go on a full-fledged marketing campaign. He currently has 4 children with 4 different women, and the last of them, Aisha Howard, has demanded $500,000 along with an apology, child support, and additional payment every year. Former Washington Wizards star Gilbert Arenas has faced this problem before. While speaking on his podcast, We Said What We Said, he explained to his wife, Melly Monaco, how Edwards can fix the issue. It's going to be hard for Anthony Edwards to be the face of the NBA because he has this entity with him. Anytime you get ready to blow up and be part of America's fate, this woman can dirty it up. Your name and image and likeness is never safe. You are going to have to give this woman 10 to 20 million to go away. This is what Gilbert Arenas said. The former 3-time All-Star believes that even if Anthony Edwards were to pay Aisha Howard the $500K she is demanding, she can come back for another amount a few months down the line. Gilbert Arenas suggests that if Anthony Edwards aims to become the NBA's face like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or Steph Curry, he should pay Aisha Howard, little baby's baby mom, 10 to 20 million to resolve any issues and avoid the brand getting dirtied. So I'm going to play this video for you guys. It was reposted on X. Sort of entertaining.
Before she met him. She said that she was getting money because she was the girlfriend of a rapper before or something.
Oh, you guys can't hear this way, actually. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm going to play it for you guys a different way. One moment. Let's see. Just give me one moment, guys. I will play this soundbite for you shortly. Okay.
Before she met him. She said that she was getting money because she was the girlfriend of a rapper before or something.
So you got pregnant because he was a lick. Get your child support and move on. You get your child support and move on. Like he doesn't. There's different situations and cases like stuff like that. The child is not for you. The piggy bank for you. So there's nothing in this that she's asking for that will stand in court. So even if he gave her one-time payment, 500,000, once that child is 18 or once he decides he doesn't want to pay, all judges are going to abide by whatever it is because it's only for child support. It's not for mother support. So he doesn't need to give her $500,000. And there's no payment that will grant her. There's no judge on this earth that will grant her $55,000. Not even $1 for the rest annually for the rest of her life. You're not in this relationship. You're not in this relationship. You're just a mother of the child he had. Child support case. So it's a child support case. So no matter what they agree to, if he ever goes back to court, it gets canceled anyway. You don't have to buy a house.
I think that's important. That's what she's asking.
It's not. You have nothing going to get dropped. It's not. You have nothing. Yeah, we're suing for defamation. What are you suing for? There's nothing. We were suing for defamation. What are you suing for? Even the 1.5. Like when she wanted $1 million. Even the 1.5. Like when she wanted $1 million up front, I would have told him she don't do that. Especially depending on what she can get that $1 million. Spend that money, especially depending on what state I'm broke. You can spend that money and then go back to child support and I'm broke because the child is the state's child. The courts. So they're the state's child. So they're gonna look out for the best
interest of the child. Well, so in your mind, she's not getting none of that. Well, so in your mind, she's not getting none of that.
No, not for her. It's just child support.
Well, she's trying.
Hey, choose
Well,
wisely,
fine.
man. Choose wisely, man.
And I'll be
And I'll be,
this,
I've been talking about Southern
because
shit.
at the end of the day,
And I'll be showing
it's
them
going to
this,
be hard
this
for
pace.
Anthony because at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for Anthony Edwards to be the face of the
Well, he
NBA
did say he
because he
wasn't
has this
interested in
entity.
No, I mean,
being the
yeah,
face of the
it's,
NBA. Well, he
if you're
did
not
say he wasn't
interested,
interested in
no, I
being
mean,
the face
yeah,
of the
it's,
NBA.
if you're not interested,
But
but
you're that good, you're that
we get it,
charming,
right?
but you're that good, you're that charming.
You can be a
Right?
face.
You're attracted to women.
You have this
You
ball and
can
chain
be a
type of
face,
personality.
but
That's
you have this
attached to
ball
that.
and chain type of personality.
Anytime you
that's
get ready to
attached
blow
your
up
name.
and be a part of
Anytime
America's
you
face,
get ready to
this
blow
woman
up and be a
dirty
part of
it up
America's face,
by fouling
this
the court
woman
case by doing
can
this, she
dirty
can
it
run
up
to you have
by
one
filing the
of
court
those.
case, by
You
doing
got
it.
one
She
of
can
those
run to
predators.
the. You have one of
Where your
those.
name and
You got one of
image and
those
likeness
predators.
is never safe.
Where your
You
name
will
and
literally have
image
to
and
pay
likeness
her
is never safe.
a lot of money
Pay her
to stand
a
down
lot of
and go
money.
away. Do not
Stand
exist
down
anymore
and
in my
go
life.
away. Do not
And
exist
that's the thing
anymore
you're gonna
in
have to
my
do. You're
life.
gonna have to give this woman
And
$10
that's the
million
thing you're going to have to
go
do.
away.
You're going to have to give
Just
this
if
woman
you're trying,
$10,
no,
$20
if
million
you're trying to
dollars
be,
to go away. Just if you're trying, no, if you're trying to be the face
I
of
mean,
this.
she's not even gonna go away. I'm
No,
pretty sure she's gonna get the 20 and then she's gonna wait
but
a little and do something
but it has
else.
to be something in writing that's like you're talking about something like if you're trying to be in the LeBron, you're trying to be in the KD, you're trying to be in the Steph Curry atmosphere of unlocking billions of dollars, and your name and legacy is cemented in the game and the world. It's going to be hard when you have someone who can go to court. Like you're in this man is in the media's eyes from the same woman. It seems like every 60 days. Every 60 days, this is you score 50. Oh, Anthony Edwards is in court again, baby mama drama.
Yeah. That sucks. Okay. What
You ought to be snatching up our money
for you all? What?
Well, Gilbert Arenas, I think that he made some interesting points just because he's been through this before. So he knows good and well, like how these situations go. And I mean, it really doesn't matter what you agree to outside of the court when this case comes up. They're going to address the child support. So if Anthony Edwards is buying this woman a house and doing all of these extra things, that doesn't address the child support. Unfortunately, that like the legality of it is all, an interesting place to be. And I don't know that I agree with Gilbert Arenas that he has to pay this woman $10 to $20 million to make her go away and disappear. It's interesting that, the amount of money that I guess she's asking for, I think is weird. I think the whole thing is weird. I think him having 4 baby moms by 4 different women is weird, but these are his personal choices. And I don't think that it's for us to judge that or for us to say he can't be the face of the league because he's not the image of, I guess, a nuclear family or, what people consider to be appropriate or acceptable. Is his play on the court warranting him being the face of the league? I mean, think about it. I mean, is Ja Morant, should he be the face of the league? He's toting guns. He won't stop with like gun symbols. He just won't stop. He won't stop tooting on the court, and the NBA does not want to be associated with that at all. And he still has his Nike contract. They have, campaign of Ja Morant flying in the air, Jordan-like. So, it's just like if Ja Morant can still have his endorsements, still, be pushed, why can't Anthony Edwards be the quote unquote face of the league? And if it's not a choice, right? Why does that have to stop him from being the face of the league? I just think that we're in different times. I think that what is considered acceptable to people continues to evolve. And I think that from a middle America perspective, Anthony Edwards shouldn't be the face of the league because of these kinds of problems, right? He's not representative of, middle America and what is considered appropriate, for sure. So I think that Gilbert Arenas, I think that he's right, but he's not. I think that he's right, but it's not right. That's what I think. I think sometimes it just is what it is, and you can't stop people from having a judgment. You just can't. And so, I don't know that he's right about him needing to pay this woman off $20 million, but I just think the solve could be literally Anthony Edwards just living differently. It could be him being with one woman and raising a family and projecting those images. There are plenty of NBA players that they have loads of women. It's more common that most NBA players are unfaithful and they're living double lives. And so Anthony Edwards, he's not married and running around with a bunch of women. Yes, he's in a relationship and got other women pregnant during this relationship. But again, there's plenty of NBA players that cheat on their wives, and it's well documented. And they're not being made into a horrible person because of it. So, I just think that I think the face of the league is undetermined, not because of Anthony Edwards. I think that Gilbert Arenas talking about his 4 baby moms, talking about Aisha Howard, who also has a baby by a little baby, is ridiculous in the sense that the reason why nobody can be the face of the league is because LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, they're taking up all of the air. They're taking up all of the media discussion. They're taking up, they're making everything about them. They will not and refuse to pass the torch to the younger generation. They create media narratives, and there's huge media machines dedicated to making sure that LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant remain in the news cycle. So I think what's holding back Ant-Man and other players from potentially becoming the face of the league is not even necessarily themselves. It's just the media machines. It's the La Media. I mean, why do we think Anthony Edwards left Clutch Sports? Nobody talked about that. Nobody talked about that nearly enough as they should have. We needed answers. We needed to know why he left, and that was never stated why. But I also think that, Anthony Edwards, this woman potentially dirtying up his legacy, I think that is a wrong point for Gilbert Arenas to make. And I think that it's not a good point to make because the only person that can dirty up Anthony Edwards' legacy is Anthony Edwards. He's the only person that can do that. These are his decisions. He chose to lay down with these women. I mean, he's putting these women in his environment. He wants to sleep with these women that have been with other rappers and famous people that are looking for probably a come up, that are looking for a way to, trap rich men. That's a thing that happens, right? And so you're putting yourself in the position to allow that to happen to you, and with 4 different women. So I think Anthony Edwards needs to be smarter, right? I don't think that these women are dirtying his legacy or dirtying up, what he's trying to accomplish. He is doing that. And so, having the right team of people around him that can help him with making better decisions, I think is important. And, it's just who's advising him? Who's advising this guy? Because, he's hurting himself. Nobody can do that to him. But I do really appreciate you guys joining me this morning. It was a whole lot of fun. I mean, what do you guys think? Is Gilbert Arenas right about Ant-Man's face of the league dilemma? Is he right about it? I mean, what do you guys think? I'll read some comments before I head out. But people will support John Morant and still complain about the league being foreign. Make it make sense. I mean, I think that play on the court is what we need to focus on. I mean, I've complained about the league being foreign, and it's not that I'm complaining about the league being foreign. I'm complaining about the investment in foreign players if they're just not as good as the American-born players. To me, it's not about foreign or American. It's about why are we moving to push a particular narrative, or why do we move to support and push players if they're just not that good? I mean, Jokic cannot run, jump, or dunk the damn basketball. Luka, again, cannot run, jump, or dunk the ball. Can't defend. So we're pushing foreign players because there's an agenda to create a foreign league, not because they are actually the best talent in the league. Do they have a good work ethic? It's debatable. If you're showing up to the league in a dad bod, you're wearing a dad bod suit, you literally, like, you're just not, you can barely run after the first half. Jokic brings the ball down, guys, and he really can't make it up and down the court all 4 quarters. So why is this happening? But yet we praise him. He's not really much of a threat defensively. Neither is Luka Doncic. Why are we? So I'm not willing to praise foreign players if they don't deserve the praise. SGA deserves the praise. He plays offense and defense. I'm here for it. Great. So to me, it's not necessarily about foreign or American. It's just, can they play? Period. But no, I don't think that John Morant should continue to be supported and he's out here toting guns. He should have lost his Nike deal. He should have lost his Nike deal 100%. I mean, Kyrie Irving lost his Nike deal for tweeting a documentary. And yes, it was offensive, but he lost his Nike contract over that. Yet, John Morant is allowed to promote gun violence. Just, it doesn't add up, right? So I don't want to crucify Anthony Edwards for making poor personal life choices that do not affect anybody in the NBA, that do not affect young kids. I mean, okay, maybe he's telling young kids it's okay to have 4 kids by 4 different moms. And I mean, maybe it is okay if you can take care of those kids. Maybe it is okay if you're present in their lives. I don't know. I that's not what I think is a sustainable formula for, raising a solid and having a solid family foundation. No, because I don't know how one person could be in 4 different households, right? But again, these are his poor personal life choices. I don't think that it should have an effect on being the face of the league. But we've seen it happen time and time again. LeBron James was catapulted into being the chosen one because Kobe Bryant had that situation in Colorado with that woman. Because Kobe Bryant was just flat out not likable. And so it's just, it's one of those things. And it's a trap, I think, to judge, because you wind up, I don't think people should throw stones when they live in a glass house. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody's just trying to make decisions for themselves. He is a 23-year-old guy with millions of dollars at his disposal. So, he's bound to make mistakes. And I think every star in the league does. And it's just about what comes out and what's revealed about you. And these are the reports about Anthony Edwards. I do think that he can still be the face of the league. I don't think he necessarily needs a $20 million payoff. I don't think he needs hush money to this woman who already has a baby by another famous person. So again, I mean, how he chooses to deal with this is, I think we're all going to be continuing to watch. We're going to continue to watch. We're going to continue to see, who's the next baby mom if Anthony Edwards has another one. But yeah, I mean, he's already pulled a Magic Johnson, right? I think he's already told a woman that he wanted nothing. I think it's this Aisha Howard woman. I think he's told her he wants nothing to do with this child, and that he will not be there for her. I believe gave her, I don't know if it's Aisha Howard. I know he gave some woman a one-time payoff. And perhaps this is what Gilbert Arenas is saying is a mistake. But anyhow, I am curious to know what you guys think. Is Gilbert Arenas right about Ant-Man's face of the league dilemma? I don't agree that documentary was offensive. It's a historical take on the identity of original Jewish people. It's debatable, but not disrespectful. So I'm not Jewish, and I don't know who is in the crowd, but it's just like if a white person tells us, right? I know, like, we have people like Megyn Kelly and other folks that, they decide what's offensive for Black people. And so the Jewish community actually has a glossary of terms, and literally they have like an entire glossary of terms of what is offensive to them, and it's so many different things. So what you and I might deem as offensive, or think, like, I can't tell the Jewish community what to be offended by. So do I think that Kyrie Irving should have been punished for utilizing his free speech to share something that he found to be educational for who he considers his people to be? No, I don't think that he deserved to be punished for that. But whether or not it was offensive, I don't think it's for folks outside of the Jewish community to say. I think it's for them to say, and for them to, to share how they feel about that. And I think that it's okay and perfectly okay to say, hey, I thought Kyrie Irving was wrong. It was to me, just crucifying him and trying to take his job away yet again for his personal beliefs. I think that is wrong. And so again, it's really tough, and we live in a world where it's tough to disagree about something or have a difference of opinion without people losing their job and getting canceled. And there's cancel culture, but I also think there's consequence culture. And so when you are a public figure, and when you are using your influence on millions of people to spread what could be considered offensive language, hate, or when I just think that folks who are public figures, they need to be more careful about the messages that they deliver to people. I don't think that it is I don't think it's the job of NBA players, entertainers, or folks who have an area of expertise to come out in a different area that is not their expertise and try to influence the public. That is a problem that I have. And I think that people use their influence and their mass appeal sometimes for negativity and things that are not, appropriate. And I think that, Kyrie Irving wanting to share these things, I think that those things were better off being shared amongst his family and friends, people who care about you, not people who don't. And I think that's where people go wrong, whether you're an NBA player, a singer, a movie star, whatever it is, actress, whatever. I think people tend to speak on things that they just don't know enough about, and are not educated about, or not considered the experts in that particular field. So just keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. It's one thing to provide an opinion if you're asked, but when people go out of their way to spread narratives or things that they just want people to know about, I find it to be unnecessary. Keep your personal beliefs to yourself. Discuss them amongst your family and friends, people who actually care about you and are going to continue to love you outside of that opinion. It doesn't need to be for the public. That's just my personal opinion on that. So it looks like we got another super chat, and I absolutely adore this person who just sent this $20 super chat. The Drew Show 4753 calls in typically as Rod. And thank you for the $20 super chat. NBA is as fugazi as the WWE now. I don't care what any of these clowns do, no matter what the race. Commissioner Nas, I don't even know how to say this. Basically, Adam Conehead Silver has permanently ruined it with all of these content deals. $1,200 a year to see your team's games. F that. It's fixed. I mean, again, I don't think that $1,200 a year to see your favorite teams, or, just to see your local team play, is even worth it. Especially given the fact that the superstars don't show up to the games. So if I can't watch my favorite player play, what am I paying for it for? For what? Why am I going to bother? Every time I've lived here now in the Bay for the last 5 years. In every single Warriors game that I've gone to, Steph Curry has not been made available. Every single one. I've been to about 5 of them. Two of them, Draymond Green started in the game, threw a tantrum, and got ejected. I mean, it's just like you're paying astronomical dollars to consume a sport. Players who have no respect for the money that we're paying. So I agree with you, Rod, and the Drew Show. NBA certainly is fugazi. And Raphael left another super chat, like, you know, and he alluded to, okay, well, is the new generation going to finally take this league back and make it something special again? Are we going to make basketball great again? I hope so. I hope that with Michael Jordan sprinkling in some commentary on NBC, that it's going to reignite basketball fans. I hope that it's going to rejuvenate basketball players to get out there and do their best. That's what I'm hoping. MJ will be watching. Anyhow, thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. I just want to say before I head out, do me a favor, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and most importantly, share the video. If you like Sports Tea, share it with your family and friends, share it on social media, and help me grow the community to be even bigger. I'll be back again. I'm going to be back with some regular content for you guys. It's just been really great to be back on this beautiful Friday. I hope you guys are enjoying the weather. Happy Friday, and salute to all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.